Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, we're gonna talk some boxing. We keep it boxing straight through. We keep it boxing straight through. How's everybody doing? Still got to do a little exercise this morning, but before I do so, I want to talk with you guys some boxing. So as you can see, it's hot topics. We're gonna talk all the hot topics, including whatever topics you want to talk about. I got some topics here I want to talk about, and we're gonna keep it 100. Now, some of the topics I'm gonna talk about may not seem to be hot topics for you, but are definitely hot topics for me. And I need to really talk about this because sometimes, nobody's talking about it. So I'm gonna talk about it because I feel like there is this double standard out there, and I think that we need to expose these things. You know me, you know what you need. We bring what you need. You know what I'm saying, baby? So the first thing I want to talk about is a hot topic, and I listened to Coach Shelton Harris. Shout out to Coach Shelton Harris's channel on YouTube. And he was talking about Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is a hot topic right now, and for various reasons. One of them is Terrence Crawford can't get fights, or at least it seems so, with the top tier welterweights in the welterweight division. Of course, I suggested that he faced Sergey Lipinets. I suggested that fight. I also suggested that he face Kell Brook. If you can't get Danny Garcia fight, if you can't get Keith Thurman fight, Sean Porter fight, even though I think the Sean Porter fight is there for him, it just depends on if Errol really wants to do that rematch with Sean Porter. We're just calling out names to see how people feel about it and what's people's opinions on it. And I really will do a poll on that to see how many of you guys want to see him do a rematch with Sean Porter, or if you want to see him actually face somebody else, particularly maybe a Terrence Crawford or whoever, Danny Garcia, who they were talking about, or he's talking about Pacquiao as well. So I'm gonna do a poll to see what you guys say about that. Man, what's that doing on the screen? Yeah. Anyway, but that's not the issue I'm going to talk about right now. So a lot of people were kind of scratching their heads when Terrence Crawford re-signed with Bob Arum. It apparently his contract was over, and he re-signed with Bob Arum. But it's not the first time I've seen this, and it's not the first time you guys have seen this. And if you're really thinking about it, putting it into perspective, you would look at prior history with Bob Arum and the people who actually work with Bob Arum, and then you probably get a perspective on what's really going on. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. So, Manny Pacquiao, when he was with Bob Arum, Manny Pacquiao resigned with Bob Arum multiple times. Multiple times. And always we heard this fight, the Mayweather fight, the Mayweather fight, the Mayweather fight, the Mayweather fight, right? This is a similar strategy right now happening with Crawford and Errol Spence. And the claim is that Errol Spence is ducking Crawford. It makes no sense to anybody who knows boxing, but that's the claim. And they keep on saying it over and over and over and over again. Meanwhile, Terrence Crawford ain't facing nobody to make us feel like, Errol's ducking him because he's facing duds, right? So while Errol's facing real competition, what is Terrence Crawford facing? Duds. Okay, but it's all good. It's all good. But we've seen this before with Mayweather and Pacquiao. We've seen it again. Before that, with no, we haven't seen that before. Sorry, my bad. My train of thought went wrong there. The other thing I noticed is that fighters keep on re-signing with Bob Arum, and you have to ask yourself, why are they doing that against their better judgment? I think of Timothy Bradley. All the really good welterweights, besides Pacquiao and Marquez, were with Golden Boy, Al Heyman, Richard Schaefer, right? Yet, for the life of us, we couldn't understand why Timothy Bradley would re-sign with Top Rank. Why would he re-sign with Top Rank? Over and over again. Didn't he want to expand his horizons? Even Manny Pacquiao, right? Even Manny Pacquiao crossed the seas, fought a Golden Boy fighter and Shane Mosley while he was with Top Rank. Timothy Bradley consistently fought a diet of top-ranked fighters. Nobody ever paid attention to that. And Bob Arum constantly said about Timothy Bradley that he couldn't sell out arenas. He just wasn't a guy he could ride behind. Bob Arum used to say that, clear and plain. So Bob Arum had the incapacity to promote Timothy Bradley, yet Timothy Bradley constantly re-signed with Bob Arum. Go to Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's contract would be over with Bob Arum, and he would resign with Bob Arum. Now, Manny Pacquiao reaped the benefits, right? He was being promoted. He was seen as the next best thing, and then he was juxtaposed with Floyd Mayweather, right? But he constantly resigned with Bob Arum until the Jeff Horn fight. At that point in time, Pacquiao had MP Promotions. At that point in time, Pacquiao was trying to actually get away from Bob Arum. He was trying to do his own thing. And for the life of Pacquiao, he keep on re-signing with Bob Arum. Okay, let's keep it going. Then we had Terrence Crawford. Of course, we know about him. But then we have Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia supposed to face Yuriorkis Gamboa. Bob Arum was trying to arrange that. That fight fell through. And Mikey Garcia said, man, I don't want to stay with Bob Arum. And Mikey Garcia had to deal with a serious set of litigation and a lawsuit with Bob Arum to be able to get out of that contract, which lasted years. He suffered. He and Andre Ward suffered trying to get away from their promoters. Okay. I want you to remember that. With Andre Ward, it was Dan Goossen. And with Bob Arum, it was Mikey Garcia. But that's not the only guy. I remember Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto could not get a fight with Floyd Mayweather. He really wanted to face Floyd Mayweather. And the only way Miguel Cotto was able to make that fight happen was when he left Top Rank. He left Bob Arum. He was on contract with Bob Arum on and off. And he left because he had a contract with Bob Arum. When his contract was up, he left that. He did not go back and re-sign with that contract with Bob Arum. Had his own promotional company. And that's how he got the fight with Floyd Mayweather. The last one I'm going to bring up is Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya left Top Rank Promotions. He was the golden boy, Bob Arum's top guy, top money maker. And he left Bob Arum. Now, after he left Bob Arum and had his own promotional company, Bob Arum said everything negative about him. Just a slew of negativity started happening with Oscar. In addition, Floyd Mayweather himself left Bob Arum, bought his contract out because he was dissatisfied with how Arum was promoting him, as did Oscar, as did Cotto. They were dissatisfied that they couldn't get the fights they wanted to get and the people they wanted to face. And so Floyd bought out his contract with Bob Arum. And after that, Bob Arum only had negative things to say about Floyd Mayweather, including he was a ducker against Tony Margarito. I say all of these things to say there is something going on why these fighters have to re-sign with Bob Arum. If you ain't got no promotional company, if you don't have a foot to stand on, you're going to be locked up with Bob Arum. And you ain't going to be able to get away just like that. It might look on the surface like you can, but Bob Arum being a lawyer and having a slew of lawyers around him with Top Rank will enslave your ass. That's right. I'm going to say it. It's called a plantation contract. And, you know, of course, we've heard about this, the slave contracts that fighters get under. And they can't get away from their owners. It's like Bob Arum owns your ass. And Floyd Mayweather was able to get out of that. Oscar De La Hoya was able to get out of that. But back in the day, that's how it used to be, where the fighter was actually a slave. He had to do what the promoter said. He had to make the fight be a certain way. In this day and age now, fighters are a lot smarter, and they're not slaves anymore. And the Mikey Garcias and the Sean Porters and the Errol Spencers, they have their own promotional companies. So they are actually promoting other fighters, helping other fighters on the come up. And when those fighters are good enough for themselves, they go and form their own promotional companies and they're on the come up. In other words, boxers are now more business savvy. They still can give you the fights you want to see, but now they have more control and more ownership over their fights. And obviously, you as fight fans will determine which ones are worth the while to watch and which ones are just a waste of time. You guys will decide that. But at the end of the day, it seems as though Terrence Crawford is in some sort of slave contract with Bob Arum. And he's now becoming more vocal as he talks to try and promote his fight. But at the end of the day, poor Terrence Crawford, man, he just Bob Arum, Bob Arum got him locked down, just like he had Timothy Bradley locked down, just like he tried to have Mikey Garcia locked down, and so on and so on. Bob Arum is not willing to release Terrence Crawford. This is what I'm saying. He knows he has a good fighter there. He's trying to convince Terrence Crawford that the strategy that he has will work out in the end. And if Terrence Crawford decides he wants to do something in a better way, Bob Arum going to leave him to hang and dry, and Bob Arum going to just trash talk his ass to kingdom come. All the talk about Terrence Crawford is the best thing, and the best fighter on the planet will all of a sudden change because Bob Arum will take his whole engine with ESPN and his clout and his influence, and he will pour down hell on Terrence Crawford. So unless Terrence Crawford can find a refuge somewhere where he can be protected from that, and since he doesn't have a promotional company, since he wasn't really mad, he wasn't dealing with the business end of things, and because he probably doesn't have a team surrounding him, a really good team surrounding him on the business end, Terrence Crawford will be left out to dry. And Al Heyman can't touch you legally. He can't do nothing with Terrence Crawford until Terrence Crawford's contract is over. That's why he couldn't touch Guillermo Rigondeaux. He couldn't do anything with Guillermo Rigondeaux until Guillermo Rigondeaux's contract, not only with Top Rank, but also with his Caribbean company, Haitian, Cuban Caribbean company, or Haitian Caribbean, I can't remember which one it is, was over. He couldn't touch him. And Al Heyman was a manager. Al Heyman is a manager. So Al Heyman really tries to manage fighters. He's not a fucking promoter. So he can't fuck around with other promoters who don't want him to fuck around with their fighters. And on top of that, even if he's managing the dude at the point trying to give him the best maneuvers, he still can't fuck with promotional companies because he's not a promoter, right? Which leads me to Al Heyman for a minute. It was amazing listening to, I think it's Richard Cohn, Richard Cohn, I think it's his name. I think he was once a promoter for Manny Pacquiao. And he's promoting the Derevyanchenko, he's managing the Derevyanchenko GGG fight. He's one of the managers. He manages Derevyanchenko's career. And Eddie Hearn had all kinds of good things to say about Mr. Cohn. He was praising him and stuff. And then Mr. Khan got up to talk and give thanks. And he, was talking about Eddie Hearn being the best promoter right now in boxing, which I do 100% agree with. I think that Eddie Hearn is the guy that's working with everybody. I think Eddie Hearn has been able to get all fighters on his own platform. And with his Matchroom, he's worked with everybody from Frank Warren to Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy to PBC fighters to Bob Arum, Top Rank, to Lou DiBella, to Kathy Duva. I mean, he'd be working with everybody, all right, in the business. And I quite frankly think that he is doing a hell of a job over here. Now, I understand lots of people talking about how Eddie Hearn's Matchroom, when it was in England, when there was no DAZN, he wasn't working with DAZN, how sometimes he put on shit fights. But the point about it is, Eddie Hearn rose to prominence in the UK because he was putting on exciting fights and local competitive fights or fights people wanted to see. So that's what Eddie Hearn does. And a lot of people have been trash talking Eddie Hearn, and I don't agree with anything that they're saying. Even though, yeah, he matched Kell Brook easy. Let's be honest, he matched Kell Brook easy, but he matched Anthony Joshua hard. You got to be out of your fucking mind if you think Anthony Joshua was match hard. The man only had 18 fucking fights, and he already was world champion and defending his championship and unifying. Man, get the fuck out of here if you think. I mean, come on now. So anyway, I'm gonna come back to that in a minute. I'm gonna talk to you all guys a little bit in a minute. Let me just go and use the bathroom, then I'll come back. Okay, I'm back. So, yeah. So a lot of people try to critique Eddie Hearn and nitpick on him. You know, you shouldn't. You always your face is always in the media, and you always listen, man. Eddie Hearn do what Eddie Hearn work for Eddie Hearn. You can't tell Eddie Hearn what the fuck to do with himself or his career. You can't tell him what to do. Come on, motherfucker. All right, yeah. You can't tell Eddie Hearn what to do with his life. You can't. You can't tell him what to do with his company. He got his promotional company. This is the way how Eddie Hearn do it. Maybe other promoters never did it that way. You have to think outside the box. Eddie Hearn decided he was going to be the face of his promotional company and talk about it. He could do whatever the fuck he want. And y'all nitpicking that. Look at all the fights that DAZN and Eddie Hearn's Matchroom have made. And look at all the contacts Eddie Hearn has made with other promoters and other managers. Man, seriously, man. Y'all need to really get a reality check on y'all ass. Y'all hating Eddie Hearn, y'all hating Matchroom, and y'all hating DAZN. And DAZN be putting on some lit fights. And don't get me wrong, again, I'm not a hater. So PBC have been putting on some spectacular fights. This Errol Spence versus Sean Porter fight was the fight of the year. I don't think no other fight's gonna beat back this fight. It's probably the most I mean, it's a throwback fucking fight. It reminds you of the 80s, the 60s. You know what I'm saying? And what do you expect with two superstar champions? What do you expect? You couldn't expect anything less. And I mean, PBC. So if you're a PBC hater like H Money, I'm just playing. H Money's not a PBC hater. He just being very hypercritical of PBC actually. But I listened to his when he was talking with Joe Habib. Shout out to Joe Habib's channel. Shout out to H Money. H Money, man, you gotta pay up, bro. You gotta pay up. We need to go up on EJ Boxing Live, and I need to see your hair shaved. I never seen a picture of you. I only seen a snapshot of you. I need to see you shaved up. Shaved up. You was the one decided to bet me on something I knew was impossible. And don't tell me about no knockdown. He didn't get knocked out. That was the bet. You better pay up, motherfucker. I'm gonna hunt your ass down. Everywhere. And you know I'm crazy as fuck. Because I box. What can I tell you? I'm a boxer. I'm gonna be crazy. I'm gonna find you. Everywhere you go online. I'm gonna harass your ass about that. You know that. You know that. But yeah, I know I think you are a true soldier. I think you will do it. It's all fun, people. It's all fun. We do these bets just to say there's something at stake about our predictions of fights. We never are 100% correct. So don't feel how about it. But you know, I had to pay up to Tommy Temper. So it ain't nothing but fun we trying to have out here. As boxing fans, man, it's anything to get you guys really invested in boxing. Anything to get you guys really invested in boxing. Because I'm telling you guys, man, when you really start to do this stuff, there's something liberating about it. My health has improved a lot. I mean, I had a little reflux problem this morning. I had a little bit of, but I did something to make that happen, by the way. I did something to make that happen to my body. But at the end of the day, man, look, man, it's one of those sports where if you don't cheat your body and you don't cheat yourself, man, I try to make 154. I only came as far as 158. I can't make 154, bro. I may have to fight at middleweight. I'm going to try again, but my stomach gave me problems. Because I started eating chips and dip and that kind of shit to get my weight down. Shit, it got very difficult. I almost got very sick. But we'll see how it goes. Anyways, yeah, I see some of you guys training and shit. That's great. You know, I need to get in a gym or something and start training there. But I do most of my training at home. And anyways, I'm going to get back to that in a minute. You know, it's my journey is about 2 years. So by the time I do pro, I'll be back 46. When I do pro or amateur fight, I think I might go a pro fight. Because down here, the amateurs, they don't really have amateurs much. So I might have to do the pro scene. Shit, but I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready. I guarantee you guys that. Anyways, on this journey, like I was saying before, you know, boxing, man, is beautiful. Especially when you do it. it's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to do the boxing, man. It's hard as fuck. I'm not gonna lie to you, but doing boxing is so much better, man. When you get in there, you start to, really get your rhythm and get your flow. I mean, nobody's punching you back, and in my case, nobody's punching me back, right? It's just cardio. I'm just doing cardio right now, and so where I used to be able, I couldn't do like 2 or 3 rounds back to back, but my cardio is much better, so I can actually do a full 3 minute round. A full 3 minute round. I could actually do that, throwing punches and moving and all that shit. Shadowboxing and punching. Well, for me, I punch a set of towels against a wall. But I'm just saying, man. And what I do is like if I want to step around to do hooks. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So like. So like I'm right here, right? And I step around and I do my hook right here, right? Or step around and I do my hook right here, right? So like against the wall, I got the towels and stuff, right? And I step around, I line up with the wall and I throw my hooks, right? So that's what I do. And like I've been watching all the different, so I'm more in a southpaw stance. So I will step around, I make some space. You can't step around right on the pivot right here. Whereas I could do it right here. I could step right here and throw the hook right here. Right? Right? But when I come here now, right? I step around. I got this foot has a step. So it has to step this way. So I can step around. So I step, make the clearance. Cha! See? Right there. Right? So that's what I do. Man, it's great, man. You got to do boxing, folks. You got to do it, man. Look at me, man. I'm in much better shape than I used to be. Right? Even when I was 175, I was in pretty good shape. So that's what I'm telling you guys, man. It's exciting. And I'm going to tell you guys this. I haven't boxed very long. Actually, I started doing this seriously, I started doing this about a year ago. I was inspired to do it in 2000, I think. Because not even a year ago. It's shorter than a year ago because my mom was ill. So I had to take a hiatus from boxing for, I think it was 2 years. And last year was really intense. Like it was a bit of a year. But I'm telling you guys, man, getting into it, if you go in the gym, throwing your punches, but don't only throw punches. Think defense every single time. Think defense all the time. Think defense. Think about something coming back at you at all times. Think at all times. That's when you have that kind of defensive mindset, you're going to you want to throw punches properly. You want to throw punches correctly. You want to throw punches in the right places. You know what I'm saying? And that's what will make it really, really good. I really started this year. My journey is like 2 years. It's gonna be a 2-year journey before I even do an actual fight, and it might more than likely be a professional fight. You started 2 months ago. All right, yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, and let me just let people know, us old folks, because we old, us old folks. If I'm almost 45. So I'm 44, but I can't tell you how I feel so young. I feel like a 20-year-old right now. I actually got a lot. I mean, forget the hair and shit, but I got so much younger and my health has improved so much because of the boxing. And even mentally, my mind has been better because I've been exercising and stuff like that. So it's like one of the best things you could possibly do, especially if you're a crazy person. Some people say, oh man, you OCD or you bipolar. Well, guess what? Maybe I am. Maybe I really should be doing boxing because I'm probably bipolar. Maybe that's what I need to do. I'm just saying. Because if you got a vicious streak inside of you, or you find that you got a mean streak inside of you, maybe boxing's for you. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why, and maybe that energy now you can transfer into something positive. So if you punching shit, I mean, after you've been punching shit for, the whole fucking day, I mean, your reflex might be to punch something though, but you're less likely to want to punch people. You've been pounding on somebody for the entire day. You're less likely to pound on someone again. You know what I mean? So, I don't really see boxers, for instance, going up online and being in disputes or yelling on people and shit like that, even though they can snap. A boxer can snap like that, especially if they're hungry and they're making weight. But if you're in the hurt business, right? Professional boxing, I'm not talking amateur boxing, professional boxing. If you're in the hurt business where you know what your punches could do to somebody, but once you get in that professional ring, you don't give a fuck. You just, you going for it. You trying to hurt that person. I mean, it really makes a difference. It makes a complete difference in how you conduct yourself with people and stuff. You're probably not going to be like getting mad with people and cussing them out and shit like that. Even though you do have an aggressive side to you, you can find that out. You know, and it's just a side of a boxer, I think, that just don't give a fuck. Be like, okay, fuck it. There's a side of you like that. Okay, I get my mouth bust. Fuck it, I'm coming still. I'm coming for your ass. I feel there's just that side of the person that is now being tapped into in a positive way. You can make money off of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man. And I think that's what, because for me, when I think about it, like I have to step into a ring and face somebody else who could possibly kill me, right? That's not necessarily a good thought, because even when I used to do martial arts, it was always about hitting the other person, not getting hit, and there was always these precautions that were put in place. In fucking boxing, man, if you mess up, that's on you. If you die in that ring, that's on you. It's not on the opponent. His job is to kill you. His job is to take your damn head off, right? Your job is to do the same thing to him. But if you get your head taken off, if you die in that ring, that's on you. That's not on the other guy, That's on you. And that's the thing that I find makes boxing so pure, because it's like, it's an even playing field. It's you versus this other guy. Yeah, you come in to hurt each other, but the guy has an equal chance of hurting you as you are to hurting him. So I think that's where I think it's a fair thing. You know, Michael, for real, bro, I have so much energy that I need to release. I've been much calmer every day. Yeah. You get into combat sports like that, it takes all that energy out. And then when I used to be doing martial arts, it was the same thing, because you come out sweating, you're drained, like you really stole that water. You have to rehydrate and stuff. And it really gives you that you feel very, very strong and healthy and good, and you don't really feel like punching anybody. You're good. You're really good. You don't feel like yelling or anything. You're just really good. All the endorphins come out and shit like that. Yeah, it's really good. So that's why I encourage people. I did a in close fighting. I was in karate. Um, hands and knives. So I did in close fighting. It was great. I mean, I'd leave that thing pumped, And again, a lot of times, and I always like the philosophy of fighting. I always like the philosophy of the martial arts. So that there are certain things that you can apply to your daily lives where you don't even throw a punch. You're not really hitting anybody, but the philosophy of what you do in martial arts allows you to just be more in control of yourself. It's all about self-control. It's all about bringing your mind and body into control, to be honest with you. And I always like positive vibes. I always like seeing people happy around me. So, I channel that energy into that. So more than likely, when I was doing a lot of martial arts, I got in very little altercations with anyone. And even when that person starts to get an altercation, I just swing it back, flip it, because I knew the last thing you want to really do, you actually fail if you get to a situation where you're actually fighting the person. Because you don't want to be in a combative situation. You actually, I found great pleasure, and I think a lot of people find great pleasure in actually de-escalating situations instead of escalating them. So I find great pleasure in just seeing people go from a very tense situation to de-escalated situation. That's my greatest. I feel like I really accomplished something when I can do that. So it's really strange, because I'm a pacifist, but Shit. Love to do some boxing, man. I love the sport. I love what it brings to the table. I love what it's done for so many people who just imagine if some of these really great fighters didn't have boxing, you know? Maybe they'd have succeeded in other areas, but I just feel like their lives would have been hell because some of them were just completely violent people with bad they had criminal records and shit. I was just thinking about I know I'm going off onto another topic, but there's some people, man, just imagine you're already labeling people different names, for all these behavioral disorders. Just imagine this. I know I'm changing topics very quickly, but I have a cousin right now, and he's right now he was incarcerated for something he did. And he's right now in a situation where, he's taking medication. And I'm like, that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to be taking medication for a personality disorder. You got a personality disorder, man. What you really need is to get yourself in a field where you could actually use that disorder, as an advantage, as something that can help you. You know what I'm saying? And I just think sometimes, people take people who maybe be very gifted. They may be people who could do very well in the combat sports, in the martial arts, in competition, and probably would have been great fighters. And we have them either incarcerated or we have them in taking medication and going to psychiatrists and shit like that when they don't even need medication. They just need an outlet to put their talents and gifts to positive use and just really super positive. A lot of people walking around frustrated because they don't know what to do with their lives. And they just don't have no fucking purpose for their life. And once you get a purpose for your life and you doing, it's hard. It's still an uphill battle, but you can take that energy and put in a positive energy. Man, motherfucker, man, you fly So I'm just saying, there's a lot of people out here who've been dead. They got caught, killed in the streets and shit because they wanted fast money and all that shit, or they were in a squeeze, whatever. But at the end of the day, man, there are a lot of really, really good people out here. Michael's saying that's so true, bro. You should think about being I can't be a trainer. I ain't box, man. There's no fucking way I would ever do that. I would never do that. I have not boxed a day in my fucking life professionally, but I'm going to be a trainer? Fuck no. I'll be a trainer. Look, Jonathan Banks, I give him all the credit in the world because he was a professional boxer. You know what I'm saying? Derek James, I give him all the credit in the world because he was a professional boxer. Sean Porter's dad, I give him all the credit in the world because he was an amateur boxer. It's not like these guys just came off the street. You know what I'm saying? They actually boxed in competition for years and months. So I can't. But me, if I don't do that, if I don't enter the ring, if I don't at least compete at whatever level, whether it's pro or whatever, I can't do that. I'm not training nobody to do shit. I don't care. I'm just not doing it. If I've never experienced being punched in the face, if I've never experienced taking a hail of fire, if I've never been experienced walking down a fighter or getting an advantage on a fighter or catching a fighter or a fighter catching me or getting knocked the spark out or something like that, whatever happens, I ain't training nobody. I've never been through the fire. You know what I'm saying? I can't. If you're going to train somebody, you had to be through that fire. I don't care what nobody say. You have to be able to identify with that fighter with everything they're going through in their career, right? So there are trainers who have never boxed professionally. There are trainers who have never been in amateur fights. Good for them. When it comes to me, I can't do that, man. In fact, even when I talk boxing today, I feel like a fraud because I've never really professionally boxed or done amateur shit. And that's why I give the Boxing Voice lots of props. They have their own competition. They actually got in there. They actually started fighting one another. KSI versus the Paul Kid, right? I get them mad props for doing a second fight and making money off the fight and promoting the fight well. I get them mad props because, listen, man, that's something you just, it doesn't happen all day, baby. It don't happen all day. You know what I'm saying? So whatever they say after that, at least they've been in the ring. Not only been in the ring, they've been under the lights. They've been at the highest level in the ring. Think about what I'm saying. So their word on boxing, you know, is a lot more than you or my word on boxing, in my opinion, because they've been there, done that. That's why even when I castigate certain people like Bob Arum and Logan Paul, sorry, my bad. Who do you think is going to win between KSI or Logan Paul? I really didn't follow them that well, so I can't tell you. I can't tell you, but you know, that's something that's unique. These guys got off of their ass. All right, they got off their ass, and they really are going into a real fight. I don't know how many rounds it's going to be, but this is a real fight. It's a real fight they're going to have, and you got to get them mad props for that. And on top of that, they're gonna get paid for doing that real fight. So that's something that I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. You know, that's unique. Cause most people who talk boxing, they're not willing to, you know, get in the ring and actually back up shit that they talk about. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you know, bro, Michael tells me, bro, it's all about knowledge when you're a trainer. Man, it's all about experience. You can't have knowledge if you ain't done it. Like, okay, people talk about Emmanuel Stewart. Emmanuel Stewart used to box. I don't know what his amateur background was. I don't know if he had a pro background, but he used to box. You can't talk boxing. All right. Let me put it to you this way. Even though Emmanuel Stewart was a great trainer, I would rather having experience being in that ring before I open my mouth and say anything. Even though trainers pass knowledge down to trainers and all of that, I know, right? But I ain't gonna talk nothing if I ain't done it. You know, it don't make no sense. I'm telling a boxer to do something I never did myself. Nah, man. Sorry, man. Can't do it. You know, so I have respect for Floyd Mayweather Sr., even though he talks some whack ass shit. I got respect for Roger Mayweather, Jeff Mayweather. I have respect for Oscar De La Hoya if he ever want to train somebody. Shane Mosley, I got the utmost respect for him, and he knows how to get the KO. He knows you see with Redcat what he did with Redcat. Roy Jones Jr. with Jesse Vargas and with whoever else. You know, Jesse Vargas' knockout win against that kid. I can't remember his name that beat Miguel Cotto. I'm just saying I have mad respect for these guys because these guys, when they train fighters, they know where they're coming from because they've been there, you know. And to me, if you got to have somebody talk about boxing, those are the guys to talk about boxing because they know what they're talking about. Now, if they deliberately decide to skew what they're talking about for us boxing fans to get the wrong idea, then that's on them because I didn't like what Sergio Mora did when he knew he was telling a lie about certain things, and he still kept on lying. And that's one thing. I expect integrity from these guys. But as to say that, you know, the best possible people to be commenting about boxing, boxers. The best are trainers. The best possible people to be training fighters, boxers or, boxers. Always. Georgie Benton, one of the greatest trainers out there, was a boxer and one of the best. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. You know, and this is where, you know, guys like Manny Pacquiao, whatever Pacquiao be telling his son is invaluable. It's invaluable because Pacquiao been there, done that at the highest level. You know what I'm saying? If Pacquiao want to train tomorrow, you know, he's a promoter, but if he want to train even tomorrow, you know, one of the highest, most refined training you're going to get. You're going to get the best training ever. Better than Emmanuel Stewart. Better than all them guys. Because the guys in there, they would tell you subtle tips inside that boxing ring. Break down certain things that not even the trainers tell people, you know. But they're going to have that connection that the trainer had, you know, because the trainer may have had certain ways of conducting himself to get the fighters to understand what he was saying. You know, there's that aspect now that you're going to have, you know what I'm saying? It's not just the knowledge. Michael said, you should train boxers, bro. I don't think Virgil Hunter has ever boxed. And David Benavidez's dad never boxed, and he raised a champion. And Jose is dope, too. Yeah, but Jose got a lot of holes in his game. And David, and I'm not into that, man. I'm just not into that. You can change lives. I totally agree with you. That's why I have this channel. It's to change lives and how people think about boxing. That's why What You Need's here. But at the end of the day, until I've done it, I'm not going to even try to train anybody. And I'm talking about I got to do it for a while, and I don't know how far I'll go because it'll be a fight by fight basis. If it depends on what happens to me. But yeah, as I was saying before, you know, the journey is the beautiful thing in boxing, man. The journey is beautiful. Don't forget to smash that like button. All right, so let's talk about some of these hot topics that we have here. So Terrence Crawford. So I was talking about Terrence Crawford, and it looked like he's kind of like enslaved to Bob Arum right now. He ain't really got a lot of options, and I think that's why Terrence Crawford is in the position he's in right now. I think that later on, I think when he gets a little bit of leeway and freedom, he gonna be able to do a lot more, like Manny Pacquiao's doing right now. Manny Pacquiao be facing everybody. Pacquiao ain't afraid of nobody. He facing everybody. When he was at Top Rank, he couldn't face all these guys, and now it's like he got this second win and this freedom, and Pacquiao game to face anybody and everybody. There's no one that Pacquiao's afraid to face. He's not afraid to face nobody, and he got a shot at everyone. Every one of them he could beat. Every one of them he can beat, and you know that. Those of you who know Pacquiao, he got a shot. If you guys call out Pacquiao and say, "Oh, he ain't got a shot against Terrence Crawford," "Oh, he afraid of Terrence," he ain't afraid of Terrence Crawford. Are y'all kidding me? Pacquiao ain't afraid of nobody. Nobody. He faces anybody. He a true fighter. He really is, and he don't have a problem with smoke. He face whoever, but I think his team needs to be smart about it at this age, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that Pacquiao can't beat any one of them guys. He can beat any one of them guys. It's a fight. It'll always be a close fight with Pacquiao because these guys are really good as well. But it's Pacquiao can beat any one of them guys, man. He can beat any one of them guys. Michael said, I was arguing about someone earlier about Crawford. I feel like if he really wanted to do these fights with the other welterweights, he would have signed with PBC. He took the easy route as soon as he re-signed with Bob Arum. This is what I was listening to Champside. Champside was saying even if he did sign with PBC, he wouldn't have gotten an immediate fight with Errol Spence, which makes sense because he believes that they would want to marinate and build that fight still, but he would have gotten better fights, no doubt about it, with the PBC fighters that are available there. The Danny Garcia fight would have been much easier. And maybe Danny Garcia and these guys might have ducked him, but he would have still gotten like Sergey Lipinets, Eudenis Ugas, because all these guys are on the up and up who have not been world champions. They would want to become world champions. So he would have gotten a lot more fights, yeah. And there are a lot more PBC welterweights that are known and actually have names than there are, with Top Rank, which is basically what it's going to be at Gavalias, because like everybody's like, what? And even Sergey Lipinets with the interview that I think I talked to you guys about that last night. Sergey Lipinets wants to face Terrence Crawford. So just imagine, Sergey Lipinets would have gotten that fight real easy if he was on the PBC end, because basically everybody's under the same banner. It's a league of champions, premier boxing champions. Everybody in the same, in the same league, in the same event. It's not that they have the same promoter. They don't have the same promoter, but you know what I'm saying. Michael says he would have fought Spence, Garcia, or Thurman by now. Or Porter. Yeah, he would have fought one of them. Yeah, for sure. Even though I think they wouldn't have been eager to face him, but with the WBO championship belt, yeah, for sure. Yeah, because they would have wanted to grab a belt. So, yeah. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. The relationship with Crawford and Bob Arum. It seems as though Bob Arum is, again, he kind of, like, to me, Bob Arum is not helping boxing with certain fighters. Certain fighters, Bob Arum just doesn't know how to promote. He does not know how to promote black fighters. He just doesn't. And Terrence is just another example. Timothy Bradley has a Hall of Fame career, but Timothy Bradley never faced Keith Thurman. He never faced Sean Porter. He never faced Kell Brook. And Kell Brook and Sean Porter fight was available to him, and he turned them down. He never faced Amir Khan. You know what I'm saying? What he turned down those fights for? A rematch with Manny Pacquiao or a fight with Marquez. I mean, I could understand the Marquez fight, but a rematch with Manny Pacquiao? Like, again? Like, why? Like, Well, don't you want to face somebody new? You know what I'm saying? But not Timothy Bradley, boy. So I'm just saying that, I felt like Timothy Bradley, with all the Hall of Fame career that he has at welterweight, that he didn't really face everybody. And, even the Mayweather fight, there was talk about that. And because he was top rank, he couldn't do it. So he could have had all these fights. He could have had the Mayweather fight, Thurman fight, Porter fight, Kell Brook fight, Amir Khan fight, who he never faced Amir Khan. Amir Khan was his contemporary. He never faced Amir Khan. He almost fought everybody at 140, so I can't really be mad at him. But at 147, he didn't face everybody. He faced two marquee 147 pounders. Well, three. Jesse Vargas, right? Juan Manuel Marquez, and Manny Pacquiao. That's it. He ain't faced nobody else. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it's you can't fault his 140 resume. His 140 resume is ridiculous. The only one in 140 he did not face at 140 was, well, there are two people, Danny Garcia and Amir Khan. He never faced them two, right? And Danny Garcia moved up to welterweight recently after Timothy Bradley had left boxing. So Danny came up when Timothy Bradley might have been at welterweight. So it's probably Amir Khan. Amir Khan's the only guy he didn't face. Well, he didn't face Marcos Maidana either. That's true. Marcos Maidana and Amir Khan, okay? And at welterweight, he didn't face Marcos Maidana. He did not face Amir Khan either. They went up to welterweight as well. So, that's the problem with Timothy Bradley. Timothy Bradley, there was all these welterweight fights, and he didn't face them guys. No, when you look at Floyd Mayweather's resume, when you look at Manny Pacquiao's resume, it's like the who's who of their contemporaries, right? The who's who of welterweight these guys face. Floyd faced every single welterweight that there was to face, except for Paul Williams, Antonio Margarito. That's it. Yeah. Manny Pacquiao faced all the welterweights there was to face, except for Paul Williams, I think that's it. wait, hold on. Let me think. Yeah. I think that's it. Damn. Well, okay. It was Carlos Quintana. Okay, so Floyd didn't face Carlos Quintana. Well, no, wait. Hold on a second. Nope. Can't say Carlos Quintana because he wasn't champion when he beat Paul Williams, Floyd was still out of boxing. So Pacquiao didn't face Carlos Quintana. He didn't face Paul Williams. Who else? That's about it. Paulie Malignaggi. Well, are we really going to talk about Paulie? Okay, we can talk about Paulie. They didn't face Paulie either. But they weren't the top guys, right? They weren't really the top guys. That Margarito was a top guy, but he was a top guy when Floyd was out. So it is what it is. But anyway, those are the guys that they didn't face, right? But they faced everybody. Bud ain't faced nobody yet. Okay, he faced Amir Khan, who's still nobody. Oh my God! Now welterweight, what has Khan done? He beat Devin Alexander, Louis Collazo. That's about it, right? Renier Lisa, shout out to you. What about Amir Khan? Let me see. He was calling everybody out. I called this dude a glass jaw break boxer. Man, Amir Khan, he always was a joke. He was always a joke. Michael says, I don't see any exciting fights that Crawford can make right now. PBC has all the leverage on him right now. He messed up signing with Top Rank. For sure. But like I said before, I think it's a slave contract he had with Bob Arum. Because think about this. If Terrence was to leave Bob Arum tomorrow, right? Sign with PBC. Right? Think about what I'm saying. He signs with PBC. One, Bob Arum is going to dump shit on him. Bob Arum is going to just destroy him with negative talk. Right? Two, he's not going to be able to go to PBC because Bob Arum will drop a heavy lawsuit on him for fighting without his consent. So, like I said before, I think that Terrence Crawford is under a slave contract right now. He is enslaved to Bob Arum until he can free himself from Bob Arum's grasp. He had to renew the contract with Bob Arum. Maybe because he took advance money or something. But Bob Arum has him tied down, and he does not want to be Bob Arum's enemy right now. Rainier Lisa says Pac-Man seems he can beat everybody, including Spence. I saw last time. Man, Pacquiao's competitive with everybody. Everybody. He could beat everybody. Definitely. I'm not saying he would. I'm saying he could. There's a difference. All right. I give him a chance in every single fight because I thought Keith Thurman would have beaten him, and he beat Keith Thurman. So he opened my mind to the fact that he could beat anybody. You can't rule out Pacquiao in any fight. Period. You know, especially after the Sean Porter fight where people had called out Sean Porter, and then Pacquiao has a style something like Sean Porter. So, I mean, yeah, I don't rule him out in any fight. Period. Michael Renier Lisa. Pac got punished a couple of rounds against Thurman. I don't think he can take Spence power and pressure. He could take it. Pac is a fighter. The problem with it is this. He might win that fight by split decision, right? But I guarantee you this. He going to be damaged for the rest of his life. 5 to 10 years time, he ain't going to be talking the same. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. And that's where Floyd was smart. He said, look, man, you take unnecessary punishment. You gotta make decisions that affect your future. Guys like Spence and Thurman, they young bucks. They can heal up much better, you know, from damage, brain damage and stuff like that. Pacquiao, on the other hand, listen to what's his name? Southpaw dude. Zab Judah. Zab Judah talks with a drawl, with a lisp. He had a brain bleed just very recently from his last fight with Red Cat. Let me just tell you guys, man. Y'all, this boxing is not no joke, right? 5 to 10 years time, Zab Judah is going to decay even more. Timothy Bradley started talking with a drawl after his Provodnikov fight. That's going to affect him for the rest of his life. Timothy Bradley told his wife when he came out the ring from every fight, he said, "A piece of me is gone." All right? Sean Porter, he can't have a long career. You think Sean Porter can have a long career? He can't have a long career. He got hit too damn much. That brain be slapping against that skull all the time. So Porter got tops 5 more years in the sport of boxing. Then he got to leave. That's why Porter trying to face everybody. He's trying to face everybody before he get out of the game. So you can say, I fought this fighter and this fighter and this fighter and this fighter. I gave him a tough fight. But he can't stay in the game that long, not getting hit like that. He don't have a long shelf life. If you want to still live a semi-normal life after boxing. What do you think about Thurman? Hell of a fighter. I don't see the thunder he used to have in his hands. Also, his reflexes have slowed down. I don't think he's slowed down. I think Pacquiao's just fast. Certain fighters will look slower than they really are because of the other fighters they're facing. It's really your opponent that you face. Don't forget to smash that like button. It's really the opponent that you face that makes you look a certain way. Shane Mosley looked slow as fuck against Floyd. Floyd was just quicker than him. Thurman looked slow as fuck against Pacquiao. Pacquiao's quicker than him. GGG looked slow as fuck against Canelo. Canelo's quicker than him. Danny Jacobs quicker than him. Throw more combinations faster than him. So obviously he's going to look slower against those guys, which leads me to GGG. You know, I was listening to Joe Habib this morning while he was training, and he was talking about how GGG's fading. You know, his reflexes are getting slower and stuff like that. First of all, I don't believe GGG's fading like that. Yeah, he's getting older, so obviously he's going to slow down a little bit. But I don't think he's fading like that. I think GGG just never had defense like people thought he did. It was basically off his offense that he wasn't getting hit. And now with high-quality fighters, he's getting tagged up like motherfucker. All right. So they're saying GGG faded between the Canelo fights and now. Okay. Because he's getting tagged up. He got tagged up by Steve Rawls. But if I do recall, GGG was tagged up by Willie Monroe. Nobody really knew Willie Monroe like that. And what did GGG say when he got tagged up in the 4th round? He said, no, I offered my face to get tagged up. No, you didn't. You don't have fucking defense. Willie Monroe was able to exploit that. So seeing Steve Rawls do what Willie Monroe was doing was not really big. GGG just put on the heat after and get Willie Monroe out the next round. Same thing he did with Steve Rawls. That's typical GGG. I don't really see, you know, we was talking about, you know, how he was getting hit over the shoulder and all. I didn't see that shit, to be honest with you. I saw typical GGG who never moves his head off the center line, getting tagged the fuck up because now this guy actually is not afraid of him like he used to be. There was this thing that he was this big monster. So Steve Ross didn't come in saying I'm gonna face a monster. Now he came in saying I could beat this guy's ass because I saw Canelo do it. I saw Danny Jacobs do it. I could do it. So he was landing good body punches in the spaces. He was landing good headshots until GGG started to really take over the fight by using his power. You know? So I don't see GGG. Of course, when you get older, you slow down a little bit, you know, but Floyd slowed down. Everybody slows down. But what do? You make adjustments. As you get older, Bernard Hopkins fought for a very long time. He made adjustments. You get smarter in how you fight. That's all. GGG's trying to make those adjustments now by having Jonathan Banks boost up his defense. Because he realized he can't continue in boxing with that kind of stupid ass defense. He's gonna always lose. He knows he lost that fight against Canelo. He knows he lost the 2 fights against Canelo. And he knows why. Because he didn't have fucking defense. All right? Everybody, real true defensive fighter. I was looking at Jamal Charlo when he was commenting on Derevyanchenko versus Jack Kokai, right? And Jamal Charlo said to Boom Boom Mancini, he said defense wins you fights. And Boom Boom Mancini didn't like it. And he was like, don't talk that thing. It's punches that make you win fights. And, Boom Boom Mancini would say that because he was, and you know what's the weird thing? He boxed, what's the kid's name? Jose Ramirez. He boxed Jose Ramirez. He didn't fight him. All right? So it's strange how Boom Boom Mancini would be talking about, defense is overrated. You need to land punches. But yet his dumb ass boxed Jose Ramirez. You know why? Because Jose Ramirez is a dude who could take punches. And he still keep coming forward. Right? All this bullshit about punches win you fights. Obviously, punches win you fights. It's about hit and not get hit. But obviously, defense is very important. If you're not getting hit and you're hitting the other guy, obviously you're going to win. Obviously. But Boom Boom Mancini always won a war. He always trying to force fighters to fight more. And just because he's in the Boxing Hall of Fame don't mean that he talking a load of shit. Because he's talking a load of shit. Right? Oh, what happened to Brandon Rios? Brandon Rios talking about, I love to be punched upside the head. What happened to him? What happened to his career? I mean, come on, man. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. try to fight like his father, taking a whole set of fucking punches. His father never used to do that, by the way. But he taking a whole set of fucking punches to land a punch. What happened to Julio Cesar Chavez's career? Boom Boom Mancini's method of boxing is what caused Dadashev to die. Derek Chisora talking about take a punch to give a punch. You need to be in shape. Where's his fight with Joseph Parker right now? He ain't got a fight. I hope he fights Michael Hunter. Michael Hunter could box his ass off. Probably knock his ass out too. Tyson Fury. How did Derek Chisora get his ass knocked out by Tyson Fury? Boxed him. Hit or not get hit. I don't know what's wrong with these dumbass people, man. I hear this theory in boxing. Boxing. The sweet science of boxing, that's not what boxing's about. It's about landing punches. If you know the true history of boxing, when they go into war, it's about landing punches. Like, motherfucker, if I land a punch on you, you stronger than I am, you hit harder than I am, you land a punch on me, who gonna go down? I'm gonna go down. So how am I gonna win a fight? I gotta make sure you don't hit me, but I hit you. It's the art of war. I mean, if I know you physically stronger than I am and you hit harder than me, I got to find a way to win. I got to find a way to beat your ass. I'm going to find that way. It's still a war. It's just going to be one in which is a tactical war, in which I realize you got better firepower than I have, and you're stronger than I am, so I'm going to have to figure out a way. So what I do, I throw many punches at you, and I make sure I get out of the way of your punches. So you will never find me. I'll always find you. I'll always be in position to hit you, but you must never be in position to hit me because your feet are slower than mine. And that's how you have to think about boxing. Michael says he would have had a lot of problems if he moved to 168. He wouldn't have been able to overpower everyone like he did at 160, and his lack of skills would have made up for it. Wouldn't have made up for it. Yeah. And the other thing is he's very strong. GGG is physically strong, so he can street fight. If you want to go toe to toe with Triple G, that might be a dumb idea. If you don't have defense. If you have defense, it's okay to go toe to toe with him. Michael says seek and destroy fighters could only go so far in boxing. Hurd wouldn't be able to do anything at 160 or 168. Seek and destroy boxers can do a lot in boxing. It's just that they must have defense. Derevyanchenko's a seek and destroy boxer, but he got defense. You know, Canelo at certain points is a seek and destroy boxer. He got defense. There's a way to have defense while you're coming forward. Let me show you. The great Henry Armstrong. Right? If I'm going to walk to you, first of all, I'm going to walk with this, right? But in addition, what am I also going to do? Change levels. So I'm coming in, and I'm changing levels. Point number 2, very important point. If you want to walk to a fighter, you need to know what range it is that you fight at. If you are a long range fighter, I'm going to walk to you with my jab. Notice I did 3 different kinds of jabs there. Here's the down jab. Change level. I go up. I come up on you. And I go, ha! And I jab down. Or I do it off the pivot. Up. On the balls of my feet. Jab down and pivot. That's the down jab. That's if I'm taller than the fighter. And I get back down on that level. Because I want to get them at an angle they're not expecting. If the guy is a shorter fighter than I am, and he's bobbing and weaving, and he's coming in, when he comes up, you can catch him with the down jab on the pivot. Ha! Okay? If he's a fighter who is taller than you, you now are bobbing and weaving to catch him with the up jab. Right? No, sorry, the spare jab. Cha! Right? Cha! Or with the shotgun jab. Ha! Right? Come in with the shotgun jab. So, there are different kinds of jabs. So when they say, oh, jab, jab. Well, jab, what kind of jab? What kind of jab? You know? There are different kinds of jabs. Right? Jarrett Hurd had to have been weight drained at 154. He looked abnormally large for the weight. It could benefit him not cutting as much weight. Yeah. Jarrett Hurd does a lot of things, including he shifts like Triple G. He got a lot of skill. Just got to refine it a little bit. And he can also naturally box. He can box from the orthodox stance. That's his real thing. Jarrett Hurd used to fight using the shell and all that other stuff that come with it back in the day. Oh, okay, the rain's coming. Come on. There you go. Yeah. He fought from the orthodox stance. And he fought the typical Michigan style fighting and all that stuff. But he got with this new trainer and he started shifting because the Mexican style. And so he incorporated the shifts with his rolls and his bobs and his weaves and all of that. So they developed this style, which kind of semi-old school, semi-normal, where we'd roll from either stance and stuff like that. Kind of Georgie Benton kind of thing going on there. They developed this unique style, and they thought it was sort of foolproof somewhat. And Jarrett being somewhat strong, you know, they could take a punch. They used it, but he never really took a punch super flush most of the fights, even though his face might get bloody and shit. He didn't really take punches flush most of the fights, except against J-Rock, who stepped around him. So what Jarrett Hurd needed to do was, it depends on which stance he's in. If J-Rock stepped around him, what he had to do was change his footwork. Either he would be shifting, he would shift backwards, so that he would face J-Rock in the southpaw stance. But you got to be careful while you're doing the shifting because you could get tagged in between the shifting. Or what he had to do was he needed to step with J-Rock, just like how Shawn Porter stepped with Errol Spence. So when Errol Spence tried to step around Shawn Porter would step around Errol Spence, countering that to keep position. And Shawn Porter had quicker feet, just like how J-Rock had quicker feet against Jarrett Hurd. So if you have slower feet than the fighter, you have to do what's called sharp pivots. Sharp pivots. Because your feet are slower, you have to turn your body. So in martial arts, for example, I'm going to give an example again. So here I am facing you. Right? I'm in the orthodox stance. I'm going to go southpaw by just simply pivoting, which doesn't take any time. This is a 180-degree pivot. Watch it. It's real quick. See? Now I'm here. Now I'm back here. So pivots, it's a 180-degree pivot, can happen very rapidly, very quickly. I want a 45-degree pivot means I have to take my foot off the ground and come 45 degrees. 45-degree pivot in the orthodox stance can happen really quickly. If you slide your foot here and then do like this. Now I'm in 45 degrees. So guys like Danny Garcia are deceptively quick. That's what I try to explain to people. He's not, they say he's flat-footed, but really he slides in. And it's deceptive because you didn't realize the guy covered so much distance. So for example, Danny Garcia, coming off the jab. Seen that? See my jab? It's a well-timed jab. It's not very fast. You don't want to go too fast, too slow. It tricks people into how fast you're throwing something. So it's a well-timed jab. Boom. Right? Did you see that? Did you see that? I slid in. Very quickly, actually. But it won't look that way because I slid in on the same level. So I'm here and now I'm here. Now, to show you how fast that was, I will shuffle. Now, when I shuffle, it looks more dramatic, doesn't it, than the slide. Because my head is the same level. So it's a deception to think that I came in slowly, but I actually came in very quickly. So that's what Danny Garcia does. And a lot of people underestimate how quickly he can cover distance because he slides in. He doesn't shuffle in. And that's how he cuts off the ring against faster fighters as well. So there's all these little things I try to explain to people about boxing that a lot of people just don't get. They don't understand. And because I did martial arts and I come from a martial arts background, I know about these things. My sensei, he taught me it's about deception. And one of the things you want to do is you want to get closer to your attacker without them actually noticing that you did. So for example, if an attacker has a gun and is pointing at you, my skill is in close fighting. If I'm too far away from him, I can't do anything to him. But I can inch in on him very easily by simply casually moving towards him. Just walking towards him very casually. Versus trying to lunge and dive at him. I'll probably get shot. Once I'm within range, again, I don't move with sudden movements. I casually take the gun away from him. It's a nice smooth movement. So he's not really watching at my hands. He'll be watching at my face. And my hands would take away the gun from him very easily. No big set of speed, none of that shit. Very quickly and easily. So there's a lot of things people, that's why they say timing trumps speed. And another thing that people don't know about boxing is it's very deceptive. A lot of things you think is happening is not happening at all. And some of the things you think is not happening is happening a lot. I listen to a lot of people talk about how there's not much feinting. That Errol Spence didn't really feint Shawn Porter that much. Go back and watch the fight. If you were seeing Errol Spence against Shawn Porter at eye level, you would see how much feints was going on. A lot of feinting was going on in that fight. It's a high level kind of chess. Maybe not to the extent that you would see in some other fights, but there's a lot of feinting that went on with both fighters. Foot feints, hand face, shoulder feints, a lot of feints. But again, you have to understand boxing. So going back to Al Heyman. Al Heyman makes a big difference. And the fact that Triple G Derevyanchenko fight is happening because of Al Heyman. Of course, Derevyanchenko being an Al Heyman fighter. But besides that, Al Heyman had to do some last minute adjustments with the lawyers to make sure that fight was possible. Otherwise, it would not have been possible. And to hear Michael Kahns, was it Michael Kahns? It wasn't Michael Kahns. It was Richard Kahn. Acknowledge Al Heyman was really big, really big. Eddie Hearn was kind of, you can see his face was like, oh, okay. But I think Eddie Hearn knew about that anyway. So Eddie Hearn, like I said before, is a hell of a promoter. Has been putting on a hell of a lot of great fights on DAZN. DAZN itself is, I think, it's the best when it comes to competitive fights. I think they put on the best competitive fights. I listen, Get the Smoke say they putting on shit and stuff like that, and I'm like, nah, bro, I don't know about that. Maybe you could talk about Eddie Hearn and his localized fights because you wasn't interested in it because you're American. But when it comes to DAZN, they're putting on a hell of a lot of fights. And they're going to end this year in a big note with some big fights. You know what I'm saying? But PBC, I got to say, man, they put on the best, most competitive fight ever this year. I think it's Sean Porter versus Errol Spence. I don't know if anything can trump that, but we'll see. We got Derevyanchenko versus Triple G. But Derevyanchenko is not an underdog like Sean Porter was. It was like 8-1. Derevyanchenko is like, I don't know what he is, but it's a close odds with Gennady Golovkin. And I quite frankly think Derevyanchenko will win that fight. We'll see. I don't know. I looked at his style. I look at Golovkin's style, and I think that Derevyanchenko has the style to beat Golovkin. And I think it's going to be in close. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Especially with Roger in his corner. So continue with hot topics, man. Errol Spence versus Sean Porter. You think they should have the rematch? What do you guys think? Or do you think that Sean Porter should face Bud Crawford, Errol Spence should face some other opponent, maybe a Keith Thurman, or they're saying Danny Garcia, but Errol Spence, obviously he don't really like the Danny Garcia fight that much. So he's been referring to Manny Pacquiao, Bud Crawford, or he also talked about Sean Porter. Rematch. What do you guys think? You think he should rematch Sean Porter? You think he should try to get the Bud Crawford fight, or you think he should try to get the Pacquiao fight? So Michael says, oh, sorry, my bad. Hybrid says, I want to see David Benavidez versus Chris Eubank Jr. Because you want to see a lot of action? That's interesting. I don't know who his mandatory will be next. Hold on a second, guys. I just got to come back. All right, sorry about that. Just had to go to the bathroom. Let's see. So you guys are saying you want to see Sean Porter versus Bud Crawford. Okay. You need to see Bud tested. I hear that. And Michael also says he wants to see Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao. That's a hell of, man, you talking about, man, that'd be dream. That'd be dream fights right there. That would be some hell of a fights right there. I would love to see that. Man, you know what would be crazy? If Porter beat Bud Crawford and Errol beat Manny Pacquiao, and we got Spence versus Porter too, because Porter now got the WBO belt. That would be so fucking crazy. First of all, what does Errol Spence do if he can't get the Manny Pacquiao fight? Because Manny Pacquiao's talking about his team being in negotiations to get the Mayweather fight. So let's say somehow Pacquiao ends up facing Mayweather next year. Who does Errol Spence face then? Hybrid 95 says, if Spence beats Manny, there's no doubt in my mind he'll become a pay-per-view star, which will potentially make the Bud fight a mega fight if he beats Porter. Then there's that too. Spence versus Bud, what everybody will want if he beats Pacquiao. Yeah. But I'm just saying, the thing about it is, though, he's already a pay-per-view star. Errol Spence, they're saying it estimated there was about 350 pay-per-view buys he made with Sean Porter, which is exceptionally good. So he's a pay-per-view star already. Ain't nobody else in the business making that kind of pay-per-view except for Pacquiao and Canelo. Canelo, Pacquiao, and Errol Spence are the pay-per-view stars right now in boxing. Nobody else is doing pay-per-view like that. And Pacquiao had a huge pay-per-view. I think it was 500 pay-per-view buys against Keith Thurman. So Pacquiao's the dude. Hybrid 95 says, I wouldn't mind seeing Spence face Porter, Danny, or Manny. Pacquiao may be the most intriguing and smartest move. Pacquiao isn't getting any younger. I mean, this is true. Pacquiao's not getting any younger. But, you know, what can I say about Pacquiao? Pacquiao's smarter. I mean, but you're right. If Errol Spence could get a Pacquiao fight tomorrow, he should take it. He should take it because you can't go wrong with a Pacquiao fight. Keith Thurman's a pay-per-view attraction now, especially with the nature of the fight he has with Pacquiao. So you will see Keith Thurman again on pay-per-view. In fact, Keith Thurman now can have a pay-per-view with Errol Spence. That's the fight everybody wanted to see at one point in time. And we might just get to see that, you know. So, I mean, we're getting all the fights we wanted to see. You know, they're talking about the Spence versus Crawford fight. And the only reason Bob Arum did that with Crawford is because Crawford ain't got nobody to face. So what they doing? What Bob Arum is doing the same thing Marvel Studios did. They give you a couple shit movies in between, and they say, "Hey, we got the Thanos movie coming up." So everybody was looking forward to that. Well, it's the same shit with Crawford versus Spence. Oh, we got the Spence fight at the end of this, so he can give you Gavaliauskas and Khan and Jose Benavidez and Jeff Horn. Well, Jeff Horn, he had to win a championship, so yeah, he took it off of Jeff Horn. But I mean, come on now. You know, I was listening to Barbershop Conversations, and he was saying the same thing. He was saying, you know, who the fuck did Crawford face? he started realizing, like, everybody's eyes are suddenly starting to open from Bob Arum's bullshit. Who the fuck is Crawford face? He ain't faced nobody. Oh, well, they ducking him. That's why. No, wait, hold up. There was a Jesse Vargas there. But you instead of having a Jesse Vargas fight, Jesse Vargas being a solid fighter, you had what? You had Jose Benavidez? Who the fuck is he? You know? I mean, you know, and Jesse Vargas would have been a good fight. You know, but they hype up certain things, man, because the fighter is getting adjusted to the weight. Spence versus Garcia or Thurman, but he's injured. Yeah, Thurman's hands right now injured. Thurman's got these injuries now, man. He keep on getting injured, which is kind of sucky. I wonder if it's intentional, though. Michael, he can double his pay-per-view numbers if he beats Manny. He's at least gets to 500K. Well, doubling his numbers would be 700K because his last pay-per-view made 350K, which is very, very good. And it's Sean Porter you're talking about. But Sean Porter did bring out people in numbers, too. And Sean Porter is such an exciting fighter. You know he's exciting. He only give you action-packed fights. Hybrid 95 says Mayweather versus Spence could rarely sell. They already have a backstory with the sparring. Like I said before, I don't think Mayweather would face Errol Spence, and I'm gonna tell you why. That's a whole new generation of fighters. Pacquiao's doing it, but Mayweather hasn't done it. Look at all the people Mayweather's faced only in his era, and a little bit before his eras. 2 eras of fighters he's faced. Guys just slightly before him: Oscar De La Hoya, Shane Mosley. You know, then people in his era. He ain't faced nobody outside his era, except for Canelo. But then Canelo's still in his era. Canelo's a veteran, you know. But guys like, because Canelo was before Keith Thurman and them. Yeah, that's true. That's it. He ain't faced nobody. He's faced nobody outside of his era. Marcos Maidana and all these dudes are before his time. Danny Garcia was a guy in his era. He ain't even faced Danny Garcia. And Danny Garcia was a weight class below him at the time when he was fighting. So when you think about it, Floyd Mayweather ain't faced nobody in Sean Porter and Keith Thurman's era, as far as I do know. So he's not gonna face Errol Spence. He's just not gonna do that. Now Pacquiao, on the other hand, he been facing guys outside of his era for a while. Chris Algieri, I think, was the first one, and then he faced Jesse Vargas, Adrian Broner. Lucas Matisse was more on Danny Garcia's era, but he faced Lucas Matisse, and then he faced Keith Thurman. These are all guys outside of the Mayweather era. He's in a totally different era right now. So Pacquiao facing Errol Spence would be crazy. It's just what it is. Floyd is not going to do that. Do you see Floyd is talking about rematching Pacquiao? Because Pacquiao's in his era. Hybrid 95. Mayweather will never come back and fight Spence. No, that's not happening. He'll come back and face a Pacquiao. He'll come back and face a Conor McGregor, who's in Errol Spence and Day era. He ain't facing no boxer, and he's just not doing that. Hybrid 95. Thurman is injured again. Damn, hope he recovers quickly. Yeah, I hope so too. Floyd always goes against the grain. He'll take that fight for the fact that everyone told him not to. Yeah, he gets his ass beat. His old ass at that. Even the Pacquiao fight, I think he gets his old ass beat. I don't care what he says. He done broken down, man. He gonna try and get a Pacquiao fight and fight him at the age of 43. This motherfucker's stupid, man. Hey, I'll watch him get his ass beat. I don't have a problem with it. Pacquiao been fighting all the way through. Floyd is going to get off of 5 years of not having a professional boxing bout with a professional top tier athlete. He gonna get, after 5 years, you gonna just get your ass in the ring and expect to beat Pacquiao. It ain't happening. I'm just saying, for everybody to know. I ain't so high up on Floyd, I can't see the reality of that situation. Pacquiao will whoop his ass. I don't care how, and he's done already getting slow. He's slow as fuck. Floyd has slowed down so much. He would get beat. I mean, I would watch it anyway. He's old. He's too old for the game now. He's too old for the game. But if he's not smart and he wants to come back, like Andre Ward talking about a Canelo fight. Fuck out of here, man. Andre, don't do that. Don't do it. You beat Canelo, no doubt about it. But then you're gonna feel like staying in the sport, and then you're gonna get your ass beat at some point. You're gonna get beat out of the sport. And Floyd be flirting with the idea, but he's smart enough to understand he do exhibition matches where he mismatched with the guy, which is smart, you know. But if Floyd think he gonna just jump back in that ring and be like the Floyd of old, fuck no. He gonna get his ass beat. Pacquiao will beat his ass. Not this Pacquiao. Floyd always goes against. Okay, Floyd didn't even want Thurman fight when he was still boxing. It's not that he didn't want the Thurman fight. He had more attractive fights in front of him. He had a Pacquiao fight. Which one you gonna pick? You gonna pick Keith Thurman or Pacquiao? Obviously, you're gonna pick Pacquiao. Everybody want to see that fight. It's common sense. After the Pacquiao fight, Thurman wasn't his mandatory. Now I wanted him to face Kell Brook because Kell Brook was the number one. It was almost the number one welterweight in the world and just beat Sean Porter. So I wanted to see him face Kell Brook, who had the IBF belt. That's what I wanted to see. So he would have been undisputed, but he chose He chose Andre Berto. I mean, what can I say? It was an anticlimax for me, but I could understand it. It was a cherry pick, quite frankly. It was a cherry pick. For all the cherry picking in Floyd Mayweather's career, he had two cherry picks: Andre Berto and Conor McGregor. Let's be honest; those were cherry picks. Great cherry picks. Let me not. If you got a cherry pick, those are great cherry picks. If you want to cherry pick something, that's how to cherry pick. Okay, but they were cherry picks. That's what they were. Hybrid 95 says Floyd can take a tune-up fight with Khan. I don't want to see a Khan fight with Floyd ever. Khan doesn't deserve that. So you understand, if Floyd comes back into boxing, it's gonna fuck up boxing again, right? Because here's what's happening: Floyd gonna make a whole ton of money, and everybody else is gonna suffer that year. So he will fuck up boxing. Everybody's high up on Errol Spence right now. The last thing you want is a Floyd to come in there and fuck up the whole situation. You do understand that. Hybrid 95 at San Ambrosio. I always forget that happening and looks fixed to me. Goose in the gander. Let's go, champ. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't want to see Floyd come back, love. You know, bit by bit, I'm actually feeling that way too. But hey, if he want to come back and try and make history with Pacquiao and make a whole ton of money and get his ass beat, I'm cool with that too. Like I said before, man, I like Floyd a lot. I like how he boxes, that is. But I understand that Father Time is never beaten. Father Time is, he's a smart enough guy to know that. But he's trying to make that Pacquiao fight on his terms. He's trying to figure out a way, I think, so that he doesn't have to go all those rounds and he can prepare. That's why he wanted an exhibition. I think his ass was trying to figure out, how do I do this? Because I definitely don't have 100%. I'm not feeling fully confident I can beat this dude at a 12-rounder now. So he's trying to figure out a way how he could conserve his energy, and whatever style he chooses to fight, because he's limited now. He's not the same Floyd. He's trying to figure out a way to win. Or have a chance to win. That's what's going on with Floyd. Because he's fucking out of shape. Do you see how big he is now? He out of shape. Out of boxing shape. Maybe he's in shape as a person, but he is out of boxing shape. He's not in shape anymore. And I'm telling you, man, Pacquiao would beat his ass. Because Pacquiao been fighting. He's been fighting for the last 5 years. At the top tier level. He'll beat him. He'll beat him as it stands. So 12-rounder, he'll beat him. And he already faced Keith Thurman. You know, we got some big welterweights now. Cinnamon Moses says it wasn't fixed, bro. That Japanese was so small. Plus he was a kickboxer. Yeah, he got the fucked up. He won his last kickboxing fight. He been on a tear since then. When it comes to kickboxing, he be dominating. And he could always say he fought Floyd Mayweather and made a ton of money. That did a lot for his career. But yeah, the kid was like what was he? Floyd was like a middleweight. And that little motherfucker was like a what? It was like a what? Like a featherweight? So what do you expect? A middleweight fighting a featherweight. What do you expect? Motherfucker got fucked up. He got fucked up. That's called getting fucked up. Floyd was like a small middleweight. Probably came in 155, 156. Big as fuck. And little, whatever his name is, I can't remember. Nagamatu or whatever his name is. You know, he came in there, he started sharpshooting Floyd, and it was like, he was like a mosquito bite. Floyd was just grinning and walking his ass down. Oh my God. And then they said that he was performing, it was like an act show. No, motherfucker, he got fucked up. Yeah, he got fucked up. That's what happened. And Floyd knew this was just going to be one-sided. That's an unfair exhibition match. And the little guy was like, yeah, man, I'm going to fuck up Floyd. Man, I'm going to knock his ass out. Nope. Oh, my God. Oh, God. That's hilarious, man. Floyd be grinning like, "Oh, I got a little, I got a little schoolboy to fuck up." Oh my god. No, the guy wasn't pretending. He started to cry. He beat his ass so bad he started to cry. Like a little schoolboy. And Floyd had to hold his hand up. Oh my God. It's so funny. He had to boost back up his confidence. It's like, don't worry, son. It was just an exhibition match. It's not going on your record. Oh my God. It's so fucking funny when I think about it. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, but you know, how many exhibition matches has Floyd fought now? 2, right? The Conor McGregor fight. And this little Japanese kid. And I hear Floyd wants to do some more exhibition fights. Oh my God, so one-sided, man. That was just not right. That was so wrong. Why did that little Japanese kid sign that dotted line, man? That ain't worth the money. Oh my God. I was in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, but he was beating you like he was beating his son. Oh my God. Floyd said, hey, I get a chance to beat up a child. Your child molester. Oh my God, it's so funny. Hey, so back to what you guys are saying here. Let me see what you guys are saying here, man. Oh, Jesus Christ. Senna Mosier says Floyd has no legs anymore. You can see it in the McGregor fight and the Japanese high school boy. Yeah, it's not only that he doesn't have his legs, but he just, look how big he is. I don't even think he can make 140. I don't think he can make 147 anymore. Maybe a catch weight? Maybe 150? Maybe 152? I mean, come on now. You know Pacquiao likes catch weights. Oh my God. Maybe that gives Floyd a little advantage. I mean, come on, man. The man looks like he walks around 162 now. 162, 163. You know, Floyd's gotten big, man. He got big. So I don't think he's in fighting shape. I don't think he's in fighting shape. I mean, you know, I heard that some of the younger guys been giving him that work in sparring too. So I just don't think it makes much sense for him to try and face an in shape, in his second really great stint at boxing, Pacquiao right now. It's just, it will favor Pacquiao probably a lot. And even if he gets a win over Pacquiao gonna beat him up. He might beat Pacquiao, right? But it's gonna be a real fight. It's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a fight. It's not gonna be like boxing. Floyd will have to brawl him. You know, and Floyd talks about, you know, coming out the sport of boxing, you know, with all his faculties and shit. And some of them faculties gonna go. It's gonna go in that fight. It's gonna be much more even. You know, Floyd might employ some of the same techniques he used before he will have to fight Pacquiao. And that favors Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Hybrid 95. Rewatch that fight in slow motion. It was choreographed. No, bro. The only choreography was a guy stumbling backwards in the air, hitting his head on the ground, trying to get back up. Ain't nothing choreographed in that fight. That's a guy much bigger than you bashing your head in. Oh, you know what? Why don't you go face Floyd? Let's see if it's choreographed there too. Motherfucker, that's real punches, bro. That's real punches. That's how that is. Trust me, bro. You don't want to be hit like that. And you know, the thing about it is a lot of people, okay, so you saying the Conor McGregor fight was choreographed? Fuck no. Fuck no. Conor McGregor was much bigger than Floyd, right? Conor McGregor came in 175, something like that. Floyd was 100 and, well, I don't know what, he was 150 something. Bashed Conor McGregor's head in. That's bashing your head in. Now, if he can punch and beat the fuck out of a 175 pounder. What do you think he's doing to a featherweight, man? To a guy that's 126, 130 at most? He'll kill him. Do you understand? That's not a fucking choreography, bro. That's assault. That's fucking assault. That's stuff that, I mean, that's wrong on so many levels. It's wrong. The guy is smaller than you, man. You just bashing his head. Do you see what the guy be landing combinations on Floyd? Nothing happens to Floyd. Not one damn thing. That wasn't choreographed, bro. That shit wasn't choreographed. Hybrid 95. What's up, Tommy? Send an emoji that says low. Miss you and Anson last night. Hybrid 95 says, dude was like 16. Floyd wasn't about to fight that kid. Was a dude. Floyd collected money for assaulting a little guy. That was wrong. That was just wrong. I mean, the little guy signed the dotted line, but I mean, oh my God. Michael, if Floyd loses to Manny, I'm going to have to stay away from the internet. These Manny fans are going to become too wild. Yeah, but, you know, here's what it is if he chooses to sign on the dotted line like that. But I feel what Floyd wants to do is try and get stipulations and get in his favor. Why do you think he was talking about exhibition fights so it doesn't appear on his record? Because he know he ain't in the shape to face a Pacquiao. He going to have to train hard, and then he going to turn around and say, man, I ain't fighting anymore. I ain't doing boxing after this. And he don't want to go through that shit anymore. He done. I just don't think that you can't stay out of the sport so long. And then the fact that he'll have to get into shape, he'll have to get into shape to face Pacquiao at 147. He can't. I don't even know if he can make 147. Because he's not been, remember, he's not trying to stay ready anymore. His career, as far as he's concerned, is over. So the fact that he even wants to get Pacquiao a fight, and Pacquiao went across to Al Heyman on PBC, and probably somewhere along the line got an assurance that he would face Floyd. You know? Which is why he came across the PBC. Kind of like with Golovkin and Canelo. Canelo probably got some kind of assurance, Golovkin, that he would face Canelo, whether it's Golden Boy or whoever. Or he got the possibility that he could. So that's why Pacquiao's over PBC, besides all the good fights he could get. So, and Pacquiao's got his slate of fighters under him as well. So, you know, and Floyd been trying to promote this second fight with Pacquiao. He been trying to push it. So Floyd said since 2016 or 17, he came up to Pacquiao and he was like, man, yeah, let's fight again, motherfucker. So they're trying to make that fight for some reason. I don't know why. I just don't think it's a good idea right now. You were 43 years of age, you looking to get your ass beat. That's what I think. But hey, if you just in it for the money, make a humongous payday and ride off into the sunset, win, lose, or draw, it's a great strategy. It's a great plan. You know? And maybe the Pacquiao fans might give Floyd the respect and say, oh, he's a true warrior, win, lose, or draw. After that fight. And everybody in boxing will be like happy. So maybe that's what they're going for. But I just think that should be separate to what's happening in the sport of boxing. However they do this fight, it mustn't fuck up Errol Spence's career. It mustn't fuck up Deontay Wilder's career. You know, they got some new lights in the sport of boxing. The last thing we want to do is bring our attention back to those two guys. They're like yesterday's news. Pacquiao's still relevant, but they're like yesterday's news. The Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, it's kind of like yesterday's news. So if they can keep that separate from the actual boxing stuff, sure. Run it back, baby. Nobody's telling you not to. Run it back. You know? Anyway, let me talk about some other things in boxing. I just wanted to talk about Al Heyman. Al Heyman was considered by Richard Cohn as the greatest promoter in boxing. The greatest, sorry, manager, not promoter. The greatest manager in boxing, and Eddie Hearn, the greatest promoter. And you know what? I can't really fault it. Eddie Hearn is the future. Whether you guys like it or not, he's the future in boxing. In terms of promotion, Al Heyman is one of the greatest managers ever, and probably the greatest manager ever because he got the greatest fighter ever. Well, not the greatest fighter, no, the best fighter ever. And then I think that self promotion by boxers is going to happen as well. I think Eddie Hearn has the zone. I think he's doing a futuristic thing with a streaming service. I think that's the future for boxing. But Al Heyman done a lot for boxing, a lot for fighters. Got him on local TV. Probably that TV service will have to go to a streaming service at some point for free. We'll see how that goes. But as to GGG fading, he's not fading. I disagree with that. GGG has a lot of more years under his career, but he's got to boost up his defense because he's now getting tagged a lot. And Derevyanchenko could very possibly beat his ass. So I hear B making all these excuses for Triple G just in case he loses. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. But he might be your favorite fighter, but don't make excuses for them. They get their ass beat. They get their ass beat. Another hot topic I want to talk about is women's boxing. I was listening to D Styles, and he was saying, he put the caveat in there. I'm not a chauvinist, you know. I'm not trying to bash women's boxing, but he said that he thought that women's boxing, one, it's just not as exciting as men's boxing. It's not as technical. He thinks the women boxers are sloppy and they brawl a lot too much. And three, he said that there's not much competition in women's boxing. To point number three, I know he's right. All you have to do is go up on BoxRec and look at rankings of women, and you will see that in each division, there's not a whole lot of women in there, right? It's not thousands upon thousands of women in a division. Nonetheless, there are thousands and thousands of fights and thousands of women in divisions, but maybe not all categorized under BoxRec for whatever reason. But to his second point, which is that women are not as technical as men in boxing and that women are weaker than men or some kind of shit like that, they're the weaker gender. I got a lot to say about that. First of all, not as technical. The fuck you talking about, bro? No disrespect to these styles, but I can mention a number of women who are just sweet to watch. I will bring to your attention Mrs. Slick, Alicia Ashley. Go check her out. Bad motherfucker. Super bantamweight from Jamaica. She's slick as fuck, and she's skilled. She's a southpaw. Love to watch her fight. Okay? Jackie Nava got a win over her, and I thought that Jackie Nava, I thought that they cheated Alicia Ashley. She should have gotten the win. Amanda Serrano, Puerto Rican fighter, multi-divisional champion. She got class. She got skill. She reminded me of Hector Camacho. I heard D-Style talking down that fight, and I was like, motherfucker, did you watch what this motherfucker was doing in the ring? And you know, you do understand she was a smaller fighter. She almost knocked out Heather Hardy in the first round and second round. Okay? And on top of that, was out boxing her ass. Heather Hardy started boxing, though. Credit to her. Another very skilled fighter that I just love to watch, Hannah Gabriels. That motherfucker got knocked out by a fighter. She went and rematched her later on and beat her ass just to show that that was her only loss until she faced Clarissa Shields in a fight in which I thought that Hannah Gabriel won. She was obviously the smaller fighter, and Clarissa was trying to bully her, and yeah, she got worn down in the 11th and 12th rounds, but man, she was fighting back too. Okay, with skill. That's the most important thing. And I thought she won that fight. Okay, and she's a 154 pounder. Okay, super welterweight. She's currently the unified WBO, WBA super welterweight champion of the world. Okay? Those are fighters with skill. They are skilled fighters. Delphine Persoon, who I thought beat Katie Taylor. She got her own set of skills. She's more of an infighter, and she beat Katie Taylor's ass. I mean, literally beat her ass. She almost stopped her in the 12th round. and she was robbed of the championship. She should have gotten that championship over Katie Taylor, but see, I'm gonna tell you this. The problem with boxing right now, when it comes to women's boxing, is only a few women are actually backed by promotional companies and by the business. So everybody talking about Claressa Shields. Everybody talking about Heather Hardy. Heather Hardy is by far not the most skilled woman boxer out there. But she been pushed like a motherfucker. She been on all kinds of cards. And she finally became WBC champ. Obviously lost to Amanda Serrano, who is really a super bantamweight, by the way. Bantamweight, super bantamweight. 2 weight classes down. She still whooped Heather Hardy's ass. Well, she didn't whoop it, but she beat her. She outboxed her. Almost stopped her, too. But there are certain boxers in boxing who are promoted. They're seen as the A side. They are the in-house fighters. Claressa Shields, Katie Taylor, and Heather Hardy right now are the names that people actually promote. But there are much better fighters than them in terms of boxing. Okay? Like I said, Delphine Persoon obviously is better than Katie Taylor. Her style is rough and rugged, but man, that motherfucker could fight from long range and inside. She's not really a mid-range fighter. Alicia Ashton is smooth as fuck. I love her. She does get tired in fights. That's her only downside. I think that Hannah Gabriels is a much better fighter than Claressa Shields. Smooth as fuck. Very skilled. She does not really bang and brawl, and that's what I like about her. She more boxes. And then you got Cecilia Brækhus, who's, of course, the undisputed champion at welterweight, as Katie Taylor is the undisputed champion now at lightweight, as Claressa Shields is the undisputed champion at middleweight, right? Cecilia Brækhus. I think Claressa Shields wanted to get a fight with Cecilia Brækhus. Again, Claressa Shields seems to be a bully. She wants to fight the littler guys. You know, the Hannah Gabriels, the Cecilia Brækhuses of the world. But it is what it is. Although Hannah Gabriels beat her ass, though. She should run it back with Hannah Gabriels at 154. Fuck it. Why you always have the weight advantage? Lose some weight and go down to 154 and fight Hannah Gabriels now at her weight class. Let's see how well you do. Sure, she starts your ass. Anyway, but getting back to it, certain fighters are promoted heavily. Katie Taylor, Heather Hardy, Claressa Shields. Katie Taylor, particularly in the UK, because she's a big name from Ireland and that kind of shit. But they're not better than some of the fighters. Some of the fighters the guys need to watch. You know, I mentioned some of them. Jackie Nava. You know, even Ava Knight, she boxes pretty well. Delphine Persoon, Cecilia Brækhus, Layla McCarter, who we always see getting interviews. Layla McCarter, she cool and she just laid back and shit, but she did her thing. You know what I'm saying? So you got all these fighters out there that a lot of people, and then we got world champions. We just had a super flyweight fight last weekend. Nobody talked about that shit. You know what I'm saying? And we got to start doing that. And if it takes me to do that, I know EJ Boxing Live does it. I'm gonna start promoting these women fighters, because a fighter is a fighter is a fighter. A fucking fighter is a fighter. You know, and y'all need to have some respect for that. There's a certain mindset to being a fighter. All right, and we got some bad motherfuckers. We got some bad motherfuckers coming up, and we got some bad motherfuckers who've been in female boxing and be doing some shit. So, I mean, we got to have some respect for the game, and respect for the game means respect for the women boxers as well. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, she looks so pretty. She looks so cute. Look at her in a bikini." I don't give a fuck about that. She a fighter. I'll be honest with you. If I had to spar her ass in the ring, I ain't going easy. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? You could knock my ass out. So fuck that. I'm just saying. I don't care as a woman fighter. A fighter's a fighter. All right? When you go into war, they don't talk about women warriors, women soldiers. A sniper's a sniper's a sniper. A fighter's a fighter's a fighter. Death is a death is a death. You understand? Most women boxers today are not as big as men. That is to say, you won't find a lot of heavyweight women boxers. You won't find a lot of, I don't think they even have any light heavyweight elite boxers right now. Or cruiserweight. So, there we go. That's crazy, man. Alright, so I just lost internet signal. I'm sorry about that, folks. Don't forget to smash that like button. All right, let me see what you guys are saying here. Michael says if Floyd was smart, he'd stay retired. That's what I think. I think he should stay retired, but hey, whatever he wants to do, man. I'm not picky. I'm a fight fan. I was hoping that Nigel, but even if he beats Manny Pacquiao, kudos to him on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe he beats Pacquiao. Who's to say? I don't know. Hybrid 95 says, I was hoping that Nigel Benn faced Roy Jones Jr. in his return fight, but it's alarming to me that Nigel Benn saying he hasn't sparred in 23 years. Yeah, well, you know. Hybrid 95 says, Hannah Gabriel's dropped Shields despite the size disadvantage. Good fight. Yeah. She dropped her. And I thought that she outboxed her, quite frankly. Thought she outboxed her. So, yeah, when it comes to women's boxing, I was saying a lot of things, and then all of a sudden, who are these people and why are they around here? I don't know. They're about to make some noise. Just leave. Just keep going. Keep going, brother. Keep going. Okay, I see. Oh, these are the people that take up the oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Oh. All right. 1 second here, people. Yeah, I'm just one bag is grass, the other is garbage. Yeah. This one is grass. All right. No, that's garbage. Yeah. Just 1 second there, peoples. I was just I had to take care of some spare. Hold on 1 second. Cool beans on that. So yeah, so I had to take care of some stuff. So I just had to take care of that. Yeah, but I was saying to you guys that yep, I live in the Caribbean, bro. I live in Trinidad and Tobago. Yep, that's correct. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So what were we talking about? Yeah. So Hannah Gabriel's man dropped her ass. Yeah, I thought Hannah Gabriel's won that fight. I really did. Yo. So Odd Makers made from Dante's Boxing Nation. Dante Boxing Nation said that Odd Makers made the Spence Crawford fight, one in which. All right. No. That is for that is garbage. Yeah. How's everything good? All right. Yeah. So yeah, the odds makers they had okay, yeah. The odds makers had the Crawford fight. They had the Crawford fight. The Crawford fight. They now have it in favor of Crawford, so it's no longer a 50-50 fight. They also have the Danny Garcia have it in favor of Crawford, so it's no longer a 50-50 fight. They also have the Danny Garcia fight with Errol Spence closer. I think Sean Porter changed everybody's minds about Errol Spence, but the point is that I really don't see Errol Spence being. I never saw him as diminished. I just knew that Porter was a tough challenge for him. He's been a tough challenge for every single welterweight except for Kell Brook, and he's been a tough challenge for Kell Brook as well. You know what I'm saying? XX Raw 2013 says, good morning. Good morning, man. Jessica Jimeno. I just talked about women's boxing, Jessica. So you kind of missed it. I'm biased. Really? You a Trini? Get out of here, bro. There you go. Okay, cool, cool, cool. You're from Laventille. Cool, man. Cool beans. Nice, nice, nice. Cool, man. Yeah, I'm right there in Dinsley. And Trinity right here. So, yeah, I do that. Yeah, I'm a Trinidadian, bro. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Yeah. Yeah, because what I was trying to say is that with women's boxing, just to go back to that topic for a minute, Jessica Jimeno. I'm just responding to Jessica Jimeno. Women's boxing, you know, it's a hell of a. There's some great fights in there. I mean, there's some great boxing fights in there. Yes, there's a lot of women that brawl and they just brawl and brawl. You know, back in the day, Layla Ali and all of them used to brawl a lot. But women's boxing has actually evolved from that. And so you're getting more boxing going on. And there are just certain boxers in there that are just sweet to watch, man. Hannah Gabriels is a hell of a boxer. I love to see her fight. Yes, she gets in some brawls too, but I really like her boxing. All right, and again, she's not bad to watch at either. I mean, she's fine looking. She does, you know, the sex appeal and the boxing is cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm just recently there. They did an interview with forgot her name, with the Mayweather boxing gym. There are a couple of them there in the Mayweather boxing gym. I know 3 women fighters in the Mayweather. Actually, 4. There's Avenite that's there. I remember Avenite a lot. Avenite had to fix her nose because her nose got broken a couple times. And then you had that Mexican chick. She was cool. And then you had Clarissa Shields beats the brakes off of Ann Wolf though. I'm just gonna let you know. I know Ann Wolf was bigger than Clarissa Shields, but I know Clarissa Shields will murk Ann Wolf. Because Ann Wolf still used to brawl. She wasn't much of a boxer. She was more of a brawler. She would bring it. Clarissa has much more boxing in her. You know, Ann Wolf versus Layla Ali, that would be an interesting fight. But, you know, but I'm just saying that a lot of women kind of used to brawl. Clarissa's got more boxing in her than brawling, but she still is a bully, right? She would bully the smaller fighters. But you now have women boxers out there. I see the thing about it is a lot of people don't know much about women boxing, right? Now, because they don't put it up on TV a lot. You know, the only people they put up is like Heather Hardy, who's a brawler, right? So people not really, but there's a lot more to women's boxing, man. They got some really good boxers out there. It's just that these fights come on and either they're not televised or whatever. And people saying, well, the women don't bring the money. Well, they can't bring the money if you're not televising their ass. How is anybody? Nobody's seeing them. So how are you not going to get money? You got to take a chance on them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying that I find that, you know, Clarissa Shields all right, man. She all right. You know, but I think that Clarissa Shields will beat Ann Wolf's ass. She'll beat Ann Wolf's ass because she got more pedigree. And if you have any kind of boxing in you, you know, Ann Wolf remind me of the person she used to train. And you saw what happened to him versus Canelo. I mean, Dog is great. You know, Dog is great, but you know, Ilis Cabelis. Hi, I'm Nick Muck from Algeria. Do you speak Arabic, please? No, my bro. I wish I could. I really wish I could, bro. I really wish I could. You know, what you can do is punch in, if you can, punch in your Arabic into a Google Translator and then try and paste it onto here. That's what you could do. And we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it because I'm so sorry, but I don't speak Arabic. I kind of look like I look like a Syrian or a Lebanese or shit like that. That's because down here a lot of people are mixed. If you see my brother, you swear he's one of those people, right? But I don't speak Arabic, no, bro. Sorry about that. But I gotta learn all these languages, man. I gotta learn everything. Aramaic, everything. I gotta learn it. I could see Shields out boxing her. Yeah, Shields would out box her. And still be beaten, trying to crack her ass and try to break her jaw and shit. Yeah, she's a much better boxer than Ann Wolf. That's the problem. Ann Wolf is a banger. She used to bang. You know. Man, I'm so sorry. It was Gabs, Gabls. Um, yeah, but yeah, of course, Ann Wolf is a dog, straight dog in it. See, that's the difference between. See, people talk about dogs, and then people don't understand that you got dogs, and then you got skilled dogs. Errol Spence versus Sean Porter was two skilled dogs going at each other. That's the difference, you know. And people don't really take into account that Sean Porter got skills. He got defense too. Unbiased or biased boxing says Trinidad has a lot of coolies and different ethnic groups. Coolies? You mean Indians? East Indians? Coolies? Hey, first of all, hey man, I ain't gonna say nothing, but hey, they got some really nice looking women down here, man. Shit, I'm gonna say that because the mix. There's just all this mix. We got everything here. We got, you know, we got the Creoles. That is people who are mixed with Spanish or French, plus you know, black, you know, or African or whatever you want to call it. You know, we are multiracial. So, like for instance, I come from the native peoples of Venezuela. So some people say I look like a Venezuelan when I shave up and everything. I'm also mixed with Portuguese, and I'm mixed with African. I'm mixed with French. I'm mixed with Spanish. I'm mixed with all kinds of shit. So I'm mixed with everything. So that's what happens. You know, we're like kind of like Brazil. We just multi mixed. So I'm not biracial. I'm not triracial. I'm multiracial. Fuck it. Whoever made me, they was in the potpourri. We call it the callaloo. They was on a roll, ninja. Woo, yeah. Yeah, you got coolies, but look. You call them coolies. I don't call them coolies. I have respect for my East Indian brethren. Because some people will look black like me, but they got East Indian in them. Yeah. We got all kinds of shit that go on down here. We got East Indian mixed with Spanish. We got all kinds of shit. All kinds of shit going on in Trinidad. And then the other thing that's cool about here is nobody looks at Islam as if it's some kind of evil thing, you know, or you know, the Hindus as if they're evil. We don't do that shit down here. Everybody work with everybody. I got a mosque right up the street. Plus, we got a whole bunch of churches over here. Plus, we got the Hindu temple. We got one right in the village right over there. Plus, we got a Jewish synagogue not too far from here. like, seriously, Trinidad is just that one place where everybody gets along. Everybody gets along, you know. So, yeah, I'm multiracial like that. My grandfather was a white dude on my mom's side. He was a white dude, but he was French. The Javis, Johnville. So yeah, it's just some weird ass shit that go on down here. Everybody gets along. Everybody. They still have a class system, and the Syrians are at the top of the pyramid, but everybody gets along down here. So yeah, what I was saying is, it's like paradise. You come down here, tell them for me unbiased. Tell them for me unbiased how much of a paradise here is. Unbiased and biased boxing. Here is like heaven. You can't get it better than here. You just won't never get it better than here. Yeah, I know. They think you Brazilian and Venezuelan out there. A guy thought I was a Brazilian. Yep. And unfortunately, when you go into those temperate countries, you get fairer in complexion, unfortunately. Down here in the sun, you're darker. So it's messed up. They don't know what to make of you. Did you live in the US? Yes, I did. I lived on the West Coast though, not on the East Coast. So I was in a place called Walla Walla, Washington State. Then I was in Seattle. Then I moved down to Southern California. And I was in Loma Linda, then I was in Riverside. And then you know Moreno Valley? Moreno Valley is where shit, where the Garcias are. Their gym is in Moreno Valley. So I used to pass down through Moreno Valley. I was up in Riverside Rocky. Actually, I didn't realize it, but I actually met the heavyweight dude who's from Riverside. I didn't meet Josecito, but I met him. I forgot what his name is. Just blanked out on me. The guy that Stavern beat to get the WBC championship. You guys know what I'm talking about. Chris Ariella. Yeah, I met him. He's tall. That motherfucker's tall. He's about 6'2", 6'3". Big, tall, powerful guy. He was down in UCR, University of California, Riverside. He was there taking in an event. It was really cool. He's a cool dude. He's quiet too. I thought he was much more talkative. He is talkative, but he's not really all that talkative. But he's tall, boy. He was big. That motherfucker's big. Big. I remember him. I wasn't into boxing then, though. How does the Venezuelan migrants coming in? It's cool. It's cool. I mean, my mom went to Venezuela to treat her pancreatic cancer. It's cool. I mean, they cool people, man. They work hard and everything. They be now replacing some of the other people in jobs and shit. They be doing jobs people don't even want to do. I mean, it's cool. It's cool. I'm not against that. See, like, did you see how Donald Trump over there being an asshole, talking about, don't let them across the border and shit? I'm like, man, whatever. Once they ain't doing no crime and shit, if they do crime, catch their ass and send them back. Or kill them. Whichever one you want to do. But other than that, I'm cool with it. I'm like, good shit. Y'all making it sound like we didn't come from Venezuela. Trinidad was broken off of Venezuela based on an earthquake. So come on now. Let's stop being an asshole now. And it's like Donald Trump. Don't let them cross the border. But motherfuckers, those motherfuckers used to live here. Their forefathers used to live here. You guys came and took it from them. You know what I'm saying? Y'all came and took it from y'all in the Spanish. So what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Now you don't want them to come in? Then you can't stop them. They all up in Alaska and shit. You can't stop the Mexicans from crossing the border. That's not gonna happen. And y'all, I know how it is over there right now, but I'm just saying. I mean, it's funny as fuck, man. They be digging tunnels and shit. They coming across anyway. I mean, it's just what it is. You can't change what it is. I'll be talking something that's not boxing right now. I usually just talk boxing. Fuck it. Let me get back to boxing. Yeah, so I'm just saying, when it comes to women's boxing, man, you got much more skilled boxers than the guys being promoted, but they promote certain people. They throw everything behind certain people. Katie Taylor, Heather Hardy, for whatever reason, they just been promoting her ass, even though she's still catching her ass to do shit. And Clarissa Shields. These are the people that are being promoted. But you got some incredible boxers out there, man, who are much better than those guys, and they just not being promoted. And I'm just saying, if you want to see good women's boxing, there are other people you can look at. Yeah, man, unbiased boxing. I'm not too sure what exactly you're talking about. If you're talking about who's a better prospect, Haney or Shakur Stevens? Haney. Haney. I think in the end, Haney's going to be the better one. But I mean, Shakur is a hell of a boxer too. But he in a lower weight class. He a featherweight right now, right? He's thinking of coming up to super featherweight. But let's see if he can win the championship belt first, as with Devin Haney, and when we could talk. I mean, it's early in the runnings. You can't really say, it's early in the runnings for both of them. So I can't definitively say anything. But I think Devin Haney's better than Shakur. That's my personal opinion. I don't know. Different people might have different ideas, but they red hot right now, and I want to see I want to see how it all pans out in the end. It's still early in the game. They ain't faced nobody yet, so we'll see. Yeah, man. So women's boxing is not being promoted enough. They need to put it on. You know what? If they don't do it, we as fans, it's up to us to start promoting women's boxing for them. And start letting people know about certain women's boxers. And it's not enough. I think I need to actually showcase certain fights and show the techniques and the skills certain women boxers have. Cedar Bracker's kind of let me down. She does bang a lot. Maybe she boxes more, but I didn't see that with the last set of fights I saw with her. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she does. She's an undisputed welterweight champion right now. But I mean, she still got a certain level of boxing skill that's better than way back in the past, right? When they was just throwing it. Now they actually women's boxing has is sanctioning bodies. They have the equivalents of the IBF, WBA, WBC, and WBO. They have equivalents of that now. It's great to see, right? So the equivalent of the IBF is the WIBF. The equivalent of the WBA is the women's WBA. The equivalent of the WBC is the women's WBC, and the equivalent of the WBO is the women's WBO. And I think that's a hell of a good thing. And we also have women who are multiple weight class champions as well. So, of course, kind of doesn't ring as much as with the men's boxing, because the men's boxing, to be honest with you, you got a lot more boxers at the top tier level that are being ranked. But it's not that they're not a lot of women boxers. There are a lot of women boxers, but they're not in the ranking system. Let's put it that way. Hybrid 95 says essentially I'm multiracial. Well, yeah, but hey, you know what? A lot of people don't acknowledge that. When Tiger Woods said he's part Asian, a lot of people didn't acknowledge that, and that's stupid. I mean, listen, the man has roots, okay? And the thing about it is, a lot of people like to call people black or whatever. But if you gonna call people black, you're gonna get shocked, because some people, you're gonna come to their homes and you hear them talking in Filipino Spanish. Be like, I thought you was black. I am black, but I'm black Filipino, motherfucker. It's not just black. When racism kind of made it so that we just kind of put people in color codes. But really and truly, you can't really look at a person's color. What you have to look at is their ethnic background or their heritage. Is their heritage. You would not be able to out there tell an East Indian, of a person of East Indian descent, or a Dogra, especially as we call them down here, not just East Indian, but mixed race, mixed heritage. You wouldn't be able to tell a Hindu from a fucking Muslim. You wouldn't be able to tell a lot of things, because he wouldn't know. You have to get to know somebody. My ex, she was Haitian, right? And she spoke French as her first language. But when I met her, she was speaking, like an American. She was speaking like, a black person in America. Well educated black person in America, but nonetheless a black person in America. Then when the fault operation comes and she was like real comfortable with me, she started speaking in French. She would talk everything in French. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Because I did not know French. That was a default operation at home. They didn't speak in English. So it's like, you have to understand these things. Like, a lot of people don't understand that it's not so much the race of a person or the color of their skin, it's the culture they come from, their ethnicity, as we call it. That's really more important, because a lot of us are going to get fucked over. You're going to get fucked up. You get fucked up a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's how somebody's been raised, how they grow up. So it's more their culture than it is their skin colors. Because some people grew up in a white neighborhood so that they may look black, but they actually were raised with a different sort of mindset to a typical person who may have had racial discrimination or something like that. So it depends on what cultural background you come from. And for me, I'm Trinidadian, so I've been exposed to almost everything. Like I've had multitude of cultural backgrounds. If you've come from New York, you may have something like that too. But here it's crazy because everybody's like family. As strange as it sounds, even with all the violence and crime and all that shit, people are family. Like me and my neighbors, we get along really, really good. Just up to recently, there, my neighbor, she was having an event, and I said, "Hey, you could have it in the back of my yard too." Yeah, same thing. You know, you and me, we could have the event right in the back there. And so people work together a lot and collaborate with a lot of shit and talk to each other almost every day. And that's not something that you might find in other places of the world where people don't talk to one another. Period. You know, and so it's a little bit different. When I went across to the United States and I saw places where they didn't even have walls around their houses, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? It happens. Hey, Hybrid 95, you from Seattle? That's cool, man. Who? No, Michael. Is it Michael? Yeah, Michael, you're from Seattle. That's cool, man. Been up Seattle side. It's good, man. A little bit cloudy and rainy sometimes, though. And that rain is cold as fuck. God damn it, man. It might as well be snow. That shit be cold, man. Seattle's pretty though. It's a nice place. The clubs are cool. Y'all be clubbing like a motherfucker when you clubbing. That's nice. But I mean, it could be a little bit depressing though. I could understand why they call it the depression capital of the world sometimes. But some parts of Seattle are just beautiful, man. Just beautiful. You know, right next to Portland. I went into Portland from Seattle. It's by my cousin. And I went, you know, the funny thing, I'm going to tell you all a story. This has nothing to do with boxing again. I had not a dime on me, and I went to Portland. How did I do it? I told people I need money for this, and I got, like, I needed transport to get down there. I just looked at somebody and said, hey, man, it's not much, I mean, to get public transport to go. I need so much money to go to wherever I want to go. And the dude just give me money, and I just take the money, use it, and go. I was very honest about what I wanted to do. And I went straight to Seattle, and then it was a little bit harder getting back to Portland, and it was very downtown Portland at that. And then so I just kept on asking people for money to go wherever I wanted to go, and they gave me. It was crazy. And eventually, I made it into the city. I walked all around the city, and I traveled, and I did whatever I wanted to do because the city's kind of hilly. And then I came back down from the bottom of the city, and I took public transport, but I needed money again. So I asked the person. I said, you know what? I just need money to get out of there and just get back to Seattle. And then from there, I said, you know what? I just need money to get on this bus here. And people would actually see me go on the bus or whatever with the money. Yep, that's what I did. I can't believe it. People are actually, it's your attitude towards people. So if you're a person who you're very honest and you're serious, they could see it and your intention. And that's how I went to Portland, man. I came back. I actually just asked people for money to go. It's not much. It's like what was at the time it was like $1 or $2. I get my ticket and I just go. And that's how I did it the whole trip. I had no money to do it, and you know what I said? I would go out and fake. I'll just do some shit. I'll just go out there and get what I had to get and go. And I just did it. And it was crazy because I was by my cousin. They just got married, and things was getting really, weird because they had just got married. So I was like, you know what? I need to leave this house. And I just stepped out on the road, and I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go to Portland. It's right next door. When I look at the map and shit, I was like, man, the city of Portland's right next door. Fuck it. I'm going. So I went. It was crazy, though. And I had a ball. I went all over Portland that day because the day was running out. It was coming to evening. I knew I had to get the train to go back. And I did it. And the cousin and his wife was worried, though. They were like, what the fuck? I'm crazy like that. It's like, I didn't tell them. It was like, where the fuck were you? Because they came back home. They went out as well. And they came back home and they didn't see me. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, well, I'm okay and stuff. They said we could have lucked you out because I didn't have no keys or nothing. I didn't care. I was like, man, I'm gonna go see Portland, and I made up my mind. I did it. You know. But Seattle and Portland, man, they cool peoples, man. They cool peoples. I had a friend from Portland too, man, and he invited me from the university I was in at the time. And I went up by him and ate ribs and all kinds of shit. I didn't know him like that. He didn't know me like that, but he was just friendly. And we became very good friends. He was a cool dude, man. Where did I meet him? I met him in this is the funniest thing. He was a white dude, but he was in this black get together. He was an engineer. He came there for the food or something. That's how we hit it off. He's a cool dude. That's why I try to explain to people that, a lot of the times people have these, you just never know who you're going to meet in life. You can't look at color. You can't look at skin color. I know yes, skin color has something to do with it in a way. Skin color does have something to do with it. But mostly it's the ethnic background of a person, it's the cultural background of a person, their genealogy that's more important than it is their race. Trust me on that. Right? Because you will find that you'll hit yourself some of the oddest people in the world. Because I like black women, right? My girlfriend was black and everything. I like dark skinned people. What I mean by dark skinned people, I am attracted to dark skinned people, right? But the weirdest thing in the world, I met this white girl and we hit it off and it was cool. And I'm just saying, you just never know who it is. You can't just blankly look at people and judge them like that, because people have so much going on. You can't just look at people versus race and color and shit like that. You have to look at personality. You have to look at their background. And you would learn so much if you would just sort of strip yourself of trying to judge somebody just based on what they look like or how they talk or whatever. You just strip all that shit off and just, you find it very interesting. It's very intriguing. And I'm not really an extroverted person. As much as you guys see me talking so much on here, I'm more of an introverted person. I like to spend a lot of time by myself than with people, really. And it's crazy. That's why I do a lot of studio work. But interaction with people is just like so much better than being by yourself at times. At times. I do need my time. I need my time. But yeah. So back to what you guys were saying here, which had nothing to do with boxing. So we just went off course again. God damn it. Chris Ariola. Yeah, Michael. That's the person, man. Unbiased or biased boxing says, I agree, man. I don't get why they acting like that. I'm not too sure who you're talking about. Michael says, who's the better prospect? Okay. Jessica Jimena says, I think boxing fans watch YouTube channels more than TV commentators on ESPN and other channels. You're right. Yeah, man. But, what I'll try to do on my channel is highlight some of these fantastic boxers who just happen to be women. Or let's say, okay, fantastic women boxers, because women are different to men in some respects. But for people who don't know, lots of women spar guys. You could actually have, this is another thing. You could actually have what we call cross-gender fights. You could eventually end up doing that, because boxing is not just about strength and power. It's also about skill and preparation. And so there are some women who will beat a lot of guys in boxing, and D Styles doesn't agree with me on this, but I know, because I've seen it. I've seen it. All right. And my perception of the whole thing changed when I was in elementary school, and I looked at this girl. She was a tomboy. Her name was Helen. And she was at the top of a hill, and I was coming up the hill. And I can't remember what happened, but I got real angry with her, and I thought, this is a girl, I'm going to beat her ass. And so I came at her to beat her ass, and she had the high ground, of course. So she spun me around, and she kicked me down the hill. I went rolling down the hill. After that, when I hit my head against a pole that was at the bottom of the hill, I said, you know what? In my head, I said, you know what? I'm going to stop judging women like that. Because this girl, she about to kick my ass. So I stopped looking at it like that. From that day forward, I realized, you know what? A fighter's a fighter's a fighter, and you just never know. And I remember when I was playing basketball today, and this short woman, she kept on stealing the ball from me. I was beating everybody in the basketball game, putting the ball through the hoop, but because she had a shorter center of gravity, she kept on stealing the fucking ball from me. It pissed me off. And then I learned, you know what, fuck that. Women are good at anything they want to do. Because you have to think of them as just like another person. You have another opponent. If you don't even try to go light or easy on them, don't do it. It's just the same thing. Just deal with them like any other competitor. I caught my ass to deal with her because she kept on stealing the ball from me. She was just so short that she had that low center of gravity, so her hands were always quicker than mine. And she would just continuously steal the fucking ball from me. It just annoyed me to no end because she was a woman. I was like, women don't do that. Oh, yeah, yes, they do. Men, women, it doesn't matter. You got a shorter center of gravity. If I'm dribbling the ball, I got to protect it even more because her hands are quicker than mine. It's just what it is. So, same thing with boxing. So when I hear guys say these stupid ass things, it really annoys me because it's like, she could kick your ass, D Styles. And don't think because you taller and bigger than her, she can't kick your ass. She will kick your ass. It's boxing. You get in that ring, she will kick your ass. It's just years and years of experience over y'all stupid ass who had never boxed before. She would kick your ass in boxing. He'd be like, I'm a tackler and shit. And you ain't gonna tackle shit. She gonna knock your ass out before you could even tackle her. And that's the thing. Boxing fans don't appreciate boxing. You know, you ain't no fucking no fucking person who's never done MMA or and never done pro boxing is kicking any one of these people's asses. You're not doing it. If they're pro, they've been doing it, and at the championship level, they will kick your ass. It's not about whether you let them kick your ass or not. Your ass gonna get kicked. You could try all kinds of things. You could try to tackle, kick up. They will knock you the fuck out. Okay? And that's what a lot of people don't understand and appreciate about these sports. That these people are at the top. They're at the top. They may be the top out of 54 people or the top out of 65 people. They're at the top of the game. And they stayed at the top of the game. It's not easy to do that at a world-class level. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. These people have been doing it since they're kids. Some of them. You know, you're not going to just be able to fly by night, started doing it yesterday, be able to deal with them or compete with them. You're just not going to be able to do it. I don't care what style of boxing it is that they're doing. They can become forward fighters or whatever. They've been doing it longer than you. They will kick your ass. Seattle and Portland have some of the friendliest people. For sure. Really cool people, man. Anywhere I go, I start to meet cool people. Don't get me wrong. There's some assholes out there. But, yeah. Off topic. Do you think all the top level boxers are on PEDs? Performance enhancing drugs. Not in the typical sense of how people deem PEDs, but absolutely. What I mean by that is PEDs are performance enhancing drugs. Now, they are banned performance enhancing drugs. No, I do not believe all the top tier level boxers are on banned performance enhancing drugs. Do I think that they're all taking something? Fuck yes. Just being honest. Right? I don't know what kind of PED they're taking, but I can tell you they're all on some kind of performance enhancing drug of some kind, of course. Jessica Gimeno says, I think in general, pro fighters don't get paid enough compared to other sports, football, basketball, etc. Yeah. In general, I'm not talking about Pac-Man or Floyd, yeah. But their pay raise has gotten significantly higher. Now we're talking about the top tier boxers getting millions of dollars, which is far cry better than, you know, what they used to get. You know, once upon a time, we were talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now we're talking about millions of dollars. What Oscar De La Hoya and Shane Mosley used to get, these guys are getting close to that now. So it's significantly improved for especially the elite boxers in boxing. Once your name is starting to be called, you getting close to those big money paychecks. Even and we're talking about cross divisions now, you know, and that's a good thing. I mean, Vasily Lomachenko, he made like a million something in his last fight. How many, 5 million, whatever. We're hearing about Gervonta Davis getting like $5 to $10 million for a fight, and this motherfucker ain't really done nothing in boxing significantly yet. And this motherfucker getting paid that kind of money. That's crazy. Just thinking about that. So all across the board, I think boxing is improving in terms of people getting paid now. I think it's more pro boxers. There's a long ways to go, but yeah, I think women's boxing needs to get a hell of a lot of more boost, because if you're not putting them out there, people can't know who they are, you know. But I gotta say though, hopefully PBC and the Zone, because that fight I was talking about with the super flyweight fight was on the Zone. I think they'll get them more show and more clout, and hopefully women's boxing can grow even more, you know, because all we used to hear about was Layla Ali and just a few people, and that was in the earlies of boxing, women's boxing, and now we're getting more names coming to the table, but we still need more attention put to it. Let me talk about the next topic here that I got. It's a bunch of hot topics. I know we've been going for 2 hours straight, but we're gonna keep it going. So there's this talk about a lot of fighters ducking Crawford. All right, and I'm tired of hearing this shit. Why? Because Errol Spence made the same fucking claim. He said that Sean Porter was ducking him. You remember that? Errol Spence said that a couple times. Sean Porter's ducking him. Sean Porter's ducking him. Sean Porter's ducking him. But when Sean Porter finally faces Errol Spence, I mean, you can argue he almost beat his ass. If Sean Porter was so, and Sean Porter didn't do nothing that Sean Porter don't do, right? If Sean Porter was such ducking you, why did you have such a hard time with him? Maybe he was doing you a favor. You was calling him out. Maybe you started believing your own hype. But he wasn't ready for you because you wasn't on his level. Sean Porter has the most stacked fucking resume in the welterweight division. All right? Why would he be ducking your ass? He faced Keith Thurman. Why would he be ducking you? So, and likewise. Why would Keith Thurman, who faced Danny Garcia and Sean Porter, be ducking you? Why would Errol Spence, who just faced Sean Porter, face Kell Brook, be ducking you? I didn't mention Danny Garcia, and I won't mention Lamont Peterson, because those guys, we really don't count them, man. They ain't not really welterweights, right? Even though you could count them if you want. Why would Sean Porter be ducking you? Sean Porter faced everybody. Just you and Pacquiao left. Sean Porter faced everybody, right? You know, I heard Timothy Bradley, punk ass Timothy Bradley. I gotta call him a punk ass. And Timothy Bradley, I love you though, bro. I'm just calling you punk ass because of what you said. Errol Spence need to face Sean Porter. I'm sorry, Errol Spence need to face Terrence Crawford now. Motherfucker, he ducking Terrence Crawford. I was like, motherfucker, shut the fuck up, Timothy Bradley. And with all due respect, because you have a Hall of Fame resume, you're a hell of a fighter and all of that. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? What the fuck? Why, first of all, would Errol Spence face Terrence Crawford next when he had the WBC World Champion? Terrence Crawford had the WBO belt. Terrence Crawford ain't faced nobody at welterweight. All right? Why would he do that if he's going for legacy? You know? I never understood it. Errol talk all that talk about Sean Porter, and then he almost lost the fight. Now think about what I'm saying, because there's a consequence to this shit. When Terrence Crawford finally gets what he wants, and then he gets his ass beat, what are y'all gonna say? That's what I'm trying to say. All right, ain't nobody ducking Terrence Crawford. Okay, nobody's ducking him. All right, so stop it. What's the kid's name? Wayne. All right, yeah, you said Sean Porter beat Errol Spence. I'm in agreement with that. I thought Sean Porter beat him, even with the knockdown. But don't get it twisted. Ain't no Terrence Crawford beating no fucking Errol Spence at this point in time. It's just not happening. I don't care what y'all say. And I'm not talking from a fanboy perspective. I'm talking, I break it down. I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, that's not happening though. Errol Spence will beat him. Right now. I don't know about in the future. I can only talk about from as of now. After that Porter fight, he will beat him. Sean Porter will beat him. All right, can't really say. Pacquiao could surprise him and beat him if he can get early scores in early. Down the stretch, Terrence will take over. Right? Pacquiao could beat him at this point in time. He's not tested like that. Keith Thurman for sure could beat him. He's not tested like that. Danny Garcia will give him a competitive fight. He probably might beat Danny Garcia, maybe not. The Danny Garcia I saw against Adrian Granados was fearsome. Right? So I would love to see that fight with him and Danny Garcia. They won a piece in the amateurs. You know, Danny Garcia thought he won the second fight too. Okay? I'm just saying, Mikey Garcia fight would be competitive. I got Mikey losing. But that would be a competitive fight. Or Dennis Ugas would probably lose. You know. I want to see the Sergey Lipinets fight. I think he beat Sergey Lipinets. But I would like to see it. So, I mean, ain't nobody ducking Terrence Crawford. And I'm just saying that when they finally face Terrence Crawford, which they will do, then you will see, wait, Terrence, we thought Terrence was all this, but he ain't all that. I'm going to do a series of videos, like I said before, breaking down fights. I wanted to do it with Tommy Temper and Mike. Michael said Bud has no body of work at welterweight. His body of work is weak, man. It's weak ass. Jeff Horn, Amir Khan, and Jose Benavidez. That's what he got. Some weak ass work. I'm not trying to be like hating on Terrence Crawford, but everybody else got better work than him. Everybody else that's top tier in the welterweight division got better work than him. And it's not like there aren't fighters that he can't face. Like I said, Sergey Lipinets is being called. Would love that fight. Would love that fight. Okay. Kell Brook called him out. Yeah, I mean, come on. At least do a Lipinets. That's a winnable fight for Terrence. I mean, Lipinets got good defense. And he's gotten better. But I would love to see that fight because Lipinets is an inside fighter. And Terrence will have to fight him on the inside at some point. And Lipinets got good movement. So, you know, I would like to see that fight. Especially with Terrence switch hitting and stuff. I love to see that fight. You know, that's a guy that's beatable. And he's a name. You know what I'm saying? That's a good little fighter right there. You got the Kell Brook fight. Yeah, Kell Brook got two bad eyes, but if he can make 147, that's a good fight for him to have. So anyway, what I'm saying is that nobody's ducking Crawford. I agree. Kell Brook, but he wanted to be great. He wanted to do that. He wanted to be great. Mikey Garcia wanted to be great, right? Like Shane Mosley, you know, like Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner to a lesser extent. He faced Paulie Malignaggi. He jumped up from one. He jumped up from lightweight to face Paulie Malignaggi. He jumped up 2 weight classes, right? So like Shane Mosley, like Manny Pacquiao, they wanted to be great. Like Juan Manuel Marquez, who failed. You know, like Bernard Hopkins, right? They had to be great. Bernard Hopkins didn't jump up straight into a championship fight, though. But yeah, you know, Canelo's going to do it now, and he's going to succeed, right? He picked the right opponent. He picked the right opponent to do it with. A lot of people are uncertain about that. I'm surprised. Nobody's ducking Terrence Crawford. Okay? Nobody. I think that Kell Brook was not ready for Triple G. You know, he wasn't. And we all kind of suspected that. And he got the treatment. He would have been a beast at 147 right now if he could still make the weight. Yeah. He's solid. He's a solid boxer. He still is solid. He just has some gassing problems in the middle rounds, but he's still a solid boxer. But that's why I wanted to see him against Terrence Crawford. Kell Brook might win the fight, but at least he give Terrence Crawford a good run for his money. And I don't think you would get his eye orbital broken. Again, I don't think Terrence hits that hard. Not that Kell Brook would want to know. Yeah, so I was saying to you guys, the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was the breakdown of fights. So, like I said, I have the Hagler versus Leonard fight I got to break down. The Canelo versus Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin fight, the first one I got to break down. I may do the first and second. And then the other fight I want to do is this Spence versus Porter fight, which I thought was pretty close as well. Yeah, and some people want me to do, well, actually, Tommy Temper. What I was saying was I want to work with Tommy Temper and we get the smoke in doing that. But first, I got to make sure I can record this shit properly. Because Tommy Temper could put up the videos. Some would be on his thing. Some could be on mine. Some could be on Get the Smokes channel where we could actually distribute those things and we just refer people to those links. So we don't get a host of the copyright strikes and shit like that. Yeah. So we're working on it. I'm working on it at least. And I did little snippets as well of Gennady Golovkin and Jarrett Hurd, so you guys can see that Jarrett Hurd has a better defense than Gennady Golovkin, at least, in their last couple of fights. But I say all of this just to say that I prefer to show you guys the breakdowns, where I come from, what I see, why as a boxer I picked this fighter as the winner over another fighter, so you guys can see that perspective, because I think it's important to understand how to judge a fight. With Porter versus Spence, it was a pick'em fight pretty much. We were looking for definitive rounds, which a fighter could have won. So there's sometimes fights which are close, and it really comes down to what you like. But you have to also think about who's really controlling the momentum of the fight, who is fighting, and also on top of that, you have to think about who's really landing the more effective punches, who's the guy that's really doing the work in there. And sometimes that's hard to discern, so I can understand why some people thought Spence won, but it was a split decision win because at least one judge saw that Porter won, and I can see why he would think so. ACOT TV couldn't see the other side of the equation, and that's okay. I noticed that the professor could, but ACOT couldn't. And you have to be able to be a boxing fan, not a fan of a fighter. Now, a lot of people out here are fans of fighters, and they're not fans of the sport. Clearly, you realize I'm a fan of the sport, and the fighters are cool, but it's like you want to be a fan of the sport by having respect for the fighters. You show that you have you are a fan of the sport. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I want to say. And of course, I did the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. You guys can always check it out. I have the Mayweather-Pacquiao playlist there, so you guys can see what happened round by round. Some people still ended up disagreeing with me, but then they felt kind of stupid about it because they realized that what I was saying was making sense. So overall, that's what I got for today. Those were the hot topics. Anybody got any other hot topics they wanted me to talk about? So we're going to 3 hours. It's almost 11 o'clock in the day. I got to go out and sell some water. So guys, just let me know. Oh, hold on a second. Somebody just blow in front of here? Okay. Somebody coming up the street, but I don't really know what's up. Yeah, so spent almost 3 hours with you guys. 2 hours, 47 minutes and counting. We talked some boxing today. And hope you guys enjoyed that. I gotta go water some plants outside though. And then I gotta hit the road. Yes, man, peoples, it's boxing. It's boxing. It's always boxing. That's the cool thing when you're talking boxing. Any other hot topics for you guys? If not, I'm out of here. I'm what you need. Don't forget you can donate to my channel via Western Union, MoneyGram, online. I can give you the details where I live, phone number, etc., and all that kind of stuff, so that you guys can donate it to there. Do stay tuned. We got more good stuff and content probably coming up this afternoon. I got a lot of other things I want to really share with you guys on this channel, but where I can, I'm going to try and share with you guys more and more boxing and more boxing things. I would love to show you guys me sparring and doing other things, but we not reached that far yet. I'm only shadow boxing. I'm only working on my footwork. I'm listening to some things that Coach Eric Bradley, the Fight Doctor, talk about. He's got so much. I've been absorbing the content. I haven't been doing any of the content, but I've been absorbing the content, doing basic physical exercises, keep my body in shape and stuff like that. And also be looking at some other channels as well for tips on boxing and stuff like that. So you need to know always the fundamentals of boxing. You have to know the fundamentals of boxing, and then from there you can always add your own flavor. But if you don't have the fundamentals, you're in deep shit. So you gotta get fundamentals down pat first. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'm what you need. You've been watching my channel. God bless you all. Peace.